be able to stay home, brother.
This is the Parley, a place where guests are required to put their money where their mouth is, where we double down on the discourse and conversation. That's the only currency accepted. Proudly presented by the Nefarious Media Network.
What's going on, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, people all over the world? Welcome to episode 22, the Emmitt Smith edition of the Parley. First of all, I can't believe we didn't drop 22 episodes of this particular program. So shout out to us and shout out to y'all that have been listening and watching this entire time. But we have a big episode this week. I'm excited for some of the topics that we're going to discuss. I, of course, am one of your hosts, the Godfather Nate Milton, over 10 years in the game. And you know what? Ain't a damn thing changed. I am still your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster, a.k.a. Mr. Still Your Auntie in the building. And I am joined by a tag team partner here at the Nefarious Media Network, joined by somebody who's ready to get his conversation on, because like that lady off the top of the show mentioned, this is the Parley, the place where conversation is the only currency accepted. He is one of the greatest producers in the podcast game today. He is my tag team partner, my brother, and my friend. Y'all give it up for a man who I'm sure is celebrating this Emmitt Smith edition of the Parley. I know how much of a big fan he is of America's team. So let's bring him to the stage. Y'all give it up for the super producer himself, Two-Way Ray Williams. What's going on, Ray? How about them Cowboys?
See, Nate, you always know what to do to rile somebody up. You know what buttons to push. But I'm not going to get started. First off, because it's the off season. I'm going to enjoy my off season, brother Nate, because there's another thing that I need to get riled up for, brother, and it's for somebody who responded to our last episode of the Parley.
Okay. Listener feedback, if you will.
Indeed. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. So
this man Ray brought receipts, starting the show off hot.
Well, yes. I did want to address it. First off, we always appreciate your feedback, ladies, gentlemen, and other good people.
Of course.
As long as it is constructive, we always appreciate your feedback. However, we receive a message based on our choice of topics, just because they might not be completely on time to when they happen. But if you know anything about the Parley, folks, we don't air every single day. We don't air every single week. We try to do it at least twice a month. This is like our back-to-back weeks, so we're doing pretty good with that. But we don't always get a chance to address everything in the moment. So when we do, we address it when we can. But we did get some feedback from one person. Don't know if they're a gentleman or young lady or non-conforming, but I wanted to go ahead. All right, I wanted to pull up the red.
Okay. While you're doing that, happy Pride Month, by the way, everybody, to those that celebrate.
All right. So, and you know what? I could go ahead. You don't mind? You want me to put it on
You
screen?
gonna put them on the Summer Jam screen?
Jam. Put them on a Summer Jam screen. Yes, sir. All right.
I mean, it is a public comment, so
exactly. That's why if it was a DM, I would have let it go, but it is a public comment. So we have Batman 313. Batman
Crusader.
Yeah, I'm hardly believing you, Batman, brother. 313. That's Detroit. I didn't know Batman went to Detroit from Gotham, brother.
Some would say parts of Detroit may mirror Gotham. We'd have to ask Gerard Downtown Brown about that, though.
That is true. That is true. All
right, it's cold in the D, brother.
yes, indeed. All right, so this was Batman _ 313 _ 2 underscores. Huh? That's Andrew.
I say shout out to the nephew.
But curious, are you guys Giants fans? Do you speak about the Giants often? This was put to bed already. It's all about football. All right. And we had one of our more gracious members of the Nefarious Brotherhood answer back. We're not on a Giants, or we're not a Giants specific podcast, but we do discuss the NFL and other major sports on a regular basis. And this was our first opportunity to break down the Dart story. Thanks for checking us out, Nate. And again, Nate, very much more generous than
I'm a man of the people, Ray. I'm a man of the people.
All right. So then
what he say?
I know he had another comment, but it seems like it has disappeared.
Oh,
I know.
Maybe he got some common sense to some religion and he deleted it.
I think he did, because I think his response was, "Oh, so you guys, here we go." He tried to delete it, but we got, like you said, we got receipts, brother. He's like, "Oh, so you're just speaking on something that's not relevant to the New York Football Giants." I get it. You thought you ate, but in the words of Big Brother Cam I Am, you are yet famished. What are you talking about, brother? See, like I said, Brother Nate was being more gracious, and I'm usually the calm, collected one. Usually, if we wanted to send a hit out, we'll get Professor on you. Luckily, Professor, he's still teaching his classes. He's wrapping things up, probably getting stuff prepared for his summer classes. So they sent me Batman, if that's your real name, brother.
So here's the thing, Ray. Here's the thing, Ray, real quick before you get started.
No, go ahead, brother.
Before you get started. So again, backstory. So this was coming off the heels of our last edition of the Parley, which took place last week, where we spoke about a number of topics, including the dust-up between Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter for the New York Giants, which occurred after Jackson Dart took the stage to proudly and loudly introduce 45-47. Hit it, Ray.
Oh, geez, you got to give me.
You stay ready. You ain't got to get ready, Ray.
I'm listening. I'm trying to listen intently.
I'll set it back up for you, Ray. I'll run the play again. You know, so this story, if you haven't heard, Ray, this story took place when Jackson Dart of the New York Football Giants loudly and proudly went on stage and introduced 45-47.
45-47. 45-47. 45-47.
So yes, and there was discussion and dialogue after that occurred, Ray, when Abdul Carter came out and had some things to say about Jackson Dart, and so that's all we was talking about. But to this so-called Batman, maybe he is Batman because he's really interested in these New York football teams.
Really?
But if you want a New York Giants specific podcast, here's the thing: I'm not gonna be like Ray back on that episode of Post Wrestling NWA podcast, but we had some.
I was this close to getting there.
We had some idiot fan out there say something stupid, and Ray was like, "You don't have to listen. Go tune into another show." And I'm like, "No, Ray, that ain't the play, brother. We don't send people away. If they want to leave, that's fine. But my thing to this person would be, Because I get it. If you're a Giants fan, Ray, you want all the New York Football Giants content you can get. But guess what? All you got to do is go to your podcast player of choice. There's a little search bar up top. Type in New York Giants football, and there will be a plethora, Ray, a plethora of New York Giants specific podcasts for your listening pleasure, all the way from national syndicated Giants podcast down to somebody sitting in their basement in Brooklyn recording a Giants football podcast. Look, I'm not even a Cleveland Browns fan, Ray, but I do listen to several Browns podcasts to kind of hear what they thinking about our nephew Shador. And so I know if the Cleveland Browns, the lowly Cleveland Browns, have at least, Ray, 12 podcasts that are going on right now as we speak, you can find something to talk about your fair to middling New York Giants football team that's at best going to win 8 or 9 games this year, sir or madam.
That is true. That is true. And I think your focus is, again, you're giving them the benefit of the doubt, Brother Nate, when you focus it more on whether you're thinking about whether or not they're a Giants fan.
It's about football, Ray. It's about football.
Yeah, and when it said this was put to bed, again, we are getting to it when we can get to it, because it wasn't just a New York story. It was a national story. It was a national story that pretty much hit headlines everywhere when everybody's covering it, not just with sports, but when the general news are covering it. Then we have an obligation as a media source to cover it as well, whether or not we're in the area or whether or not we're Giants fans or not. We have an obligation to tackle it as well. So that's what we did. So again, and even now I'm being nice. I was on the brink. You ain't got the look, but we still appreciate you listening. We thank you for listening. Batman _313_. And
Ray, we listen and we don't judge
yes,
out loud. I'm judging you all the way internally, Batman _331. I judged you the moment you said that dumbass comment, but out loud, I'm not gonna judge you, friend. We all just trying to get along in this world, Ray Williams.
Indeed. And I hope you do. I hope you do stick around, because we are covering New York sports. We do have a new NBA Finals. NBA Finals watch along coming up. Maybe you're a Knicks fan, Batman _313.
That's my thing, Ray. If you are the guardian of Gotham, why you so worried about these Giants that ain't won nothing since Eli Manning was on the field? Your Knicks are 2 games away from winning the Larry O'Brien championship, bringing it home to New York for the first time since the 60s and the 70s. You should be focused on that, Batman. Well, technically, you should be focused on improving the economic infrastructure in Gotham, making sure your citizens are safe, locking the joke up for good. You should be concerned about that, and then be concerned about the Knicks. The Giants should be an afterthought with a 8-win, 9-win season that they're going to have this season.
Yeah, and keep on talking, Batman. We know your secret identity. We'll put you on blast like J. Jonah Jameson up at it. We'll put you on blast now. But
see, now we're gonna get a whole nother round of angry comments in the comment section, right? Well, actually, J. Jonah Jameson is in the Marvel universe. In the DC universe, it would be Amanda Waller that outed Bruce Wayne, Ray Williams.
That was very accurate, Brother Nate. Very.
It's all love, Ray.
Indeed.
Externally.
Yeah. But we still appreciate you, Batman _313. And again, thank you for sharing. Even though we may not agree fully, but we appreciate you still being respectful with your comments. You could have lashed out, you could have been trolling even more, but we appreciate you. We appreciate your feedback.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, Ray, because that is part of the thing I love about this medium, as opposed to because I do broadcasting on the local TV networks down here. I've done broadcasting on the radio, done broadcasting in many different kind of outlets, but with podcasting, there is an immediate audience interaction that you can
Mhm.
have either while you're recording, while you're broadcasting, or immediately after the show is released. And so if anybody that's taking the time out to check out our shows, man, we appreciate it. And we want to spark the conversations. We want these episodes to make you think a little bit differently, maybe think about some things you hadn't considered before, and then let us know your comments. You know, this is a two-way street, ladies and gentlemen. Even though we the ones that are driving the Batmobile, as it were, it's a two-way street.
Mhm. Those are only streets I go down. I see a one-way street, I turn the other way.
So let's keep this metaphor going, right? Let's keep it going. Because if we going down this two-way street, we don't want to go down this one-way street, so we make a U-turn. Oh, what is this on the corner, Ray? Someplace I haven't been in a while.
Oh,
A movie theater, Ray.
nice.
And I know, you know, not to throw dirt on you, Ray, not to put dirt on your name, brother. But listeners of the Parley and other shows here at Nefarious know Ray Williams is a great many things that we appreciate. But avid moviegoer is not one of those things on the list for our brother Ray. But I wanted to bring up a topic, actually a couple topics based off of recent movies in the theaters right now, Ray. So
Yes.
first of all, for those that are watchers of the box office and kind of the way that these movies rank each and every week, your current reigning and defending number one movie in America right now is Scary Movie. Don't call it Scary Movie 7 or Scary Movie 6. I don't know what number they are on now, but they just said bump all that, Ray. We're not going back to the numbers. This is Scary Movie. And it is the return of the Wayans brothers to the Scary Movie franchise after they did the first two movies, and then the Weinstein Corporation finagled them out of the rest of the movies in the franchise. Surprisingly, that's only the second worst thing that the Weinsteins have done. We gonna bypass all the rest of that conversation. But the Wayans are back in control of the franchise, Ray. They dropped the latest movie this past weekend, and it is number one at the box office. I believe thus far, like as of today, as of Monday afternoon, it has made $155 million worldwide on a $50 million budget.
Wow.
So it's already made its money back in the first weekend.
That's awesome to see, and I think it just shows that there was an audience out there either who wanted to re-engage with the Wayans and with their type of comedy, or you had folks who were new to it who may have heard things about it who wanted to get involved with it. But that's big, 155 million in one weekend, and there wasn't a holiday weekend or anything. It was all constrained within those 3 days. So yeah, and I think this definitely shows the theater business is not dead, folks.
No, like it's just different, Ray. Like there was that recovery period after COVID when Nicole Kidman had to bring us all back to the movies, Ray. tell us how magical it was, dog. But now, we're seeing like if you've got something that people are interested in or something that is good or both, hopefully, you can bring people out to the theaters. But when you talk about this Scary Movie, Ray, it's funny because I haven't seen it yet. I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it yet either. But I have heard extremely mixed reviews, which is in line with the previous Wayans Scary Movies, where the critics are like, this is the most juvenile, dumb, gross out kind of humor you can find. And the audience is like, give us more. Take my money. Keenan, take my money. Sean, take my money. Marlon. And so I think it's funny because there is a certain type of humor with the Wayans brothers. And ironically enough, Ray, I learned about their comedic stylings through listening to the commentary track of a little-known classic movie called Little Man. For those that don't know, this is the movie where Shawn Wayans plays a gentleman who dreams of having a son one day. And then, spoiler alert for the little man, a little baby is dropped on his doorstep, a little ugly baby that looks just like Marlon Wayans. But plot twist, it's actually not a baby. He is a criminal mastermind who just happens to be a very, very little person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we get all sorts of hijinks and hilarities. And then through the course of the movie, little criminal baby Marlon learns that I shouldn't be a criminal. I should just be a good son to this man that I am older than. But listening to the commentary track, Keenan is telling Marlon and Sean, he's like, I always told you boys the secret to all of our movies. And then Marlon and Sean in unison say, hearts and farts. And basically what hearts and farts means, Ray, is any Wayans Brothers comedy, you're going to get a lot of gross out humor. You're going to get a lot of stupid humor, a lot of juvenile, sophomoric type of humor, but you're also going to get some heartfelt, emotional resonance with these characters. And so it kind of balances out by the time you get to the end of the movie. And you see that in films like Little Man and films like White Chicks, the first two Scary Movies, things of that nature. And so I haven't seen this yet, but I'm sure it's more of the same, because the two clips that I have seen from this film speak to that, Ray. The first one is a character that I'm sure you hated for years because of the connotations and the connection to you. It's the character that Sean Wayans plays in this movie, Ray, aka Gay Ray, who is a closeted homosexual individual in the first couple of films. And they do a spoof on a guy that went viral like a decade ago. I Am Delivered.
Yeah.
You remember that one, Ray?
Yes.
I am delivered. I don't like men's no more. I like women. Women. I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, that's like a dumb, low-hanging fruit kind of a joke. But then they also showed a clip of Anna Faris's character, Cindy, and Regina Hall's character, Brenda, like reuniting after all this time, and they want to hug each other. And Cindy, Anna Faris's character, says, "Girl, I want to hug you so much, but I'm a Republican, and we don't do that. We." And then finally, she just kind of looks just like, screw it, and they just hug each other and have this reunion moment. And so, like, there's a sentimentality with these characters, and so yeah, like that's the hearts and farts formula of the Wayans. And so it got me to thinking, Ray. Well, before I ask this question, what do you think of that idea from the Wayans? Like, that's the secret sauce to their films is hearts and farts. Like, we gonna tell y'all some dumbass jokes, but then we gonna make you feel something.
Well, I think that we've seen similar formulas. Usually they're by the traditional variety of of directors and of writers. I guess if you want to talk more about want to go more in like recent or modern times, we had with Steve Carell, and we had I forget the director's name who did all the movies with Superbad and 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Judd Apatow.
Judd Apatow, yes. So we see him deliver those types of movies and that style of movies. I think with the director who did who was it? Bridesmaids. I think you're seeing. I think Craig. I want to say Craig Haggis or something to that effect. But that director as well. So it's not like an unfamiliar formula, but I think the twist is especially with untraditional comedians and untraditional comedians and directors when they put their spin on it. I think, like you say, I think you can feel the heart a little bit more, and you can. I think the humor hits harder as well. If you guys aren't familiar with the Wayans brothers' work, of course, like Brother Nate mentioned, Little Man, Little Man, White Chicks. Even if you go back with the oldest brother with Keenan Ivory Wayans, with I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, with his work that he did with Robert Townsend, with Hollywood Shuffle, Damon Wayans with all the work that he's done. And I think Damon's talked about this as well, especially with In Living Color as well, where they always want to push that. They want to push that line, and they want to kind of get close to that line as far as like, oh, you think we can't say it, but we'll go ahead and say it. I think there's a difference between saying the things that nobody else is going to say and putting a humorous spin on it and making it funny so that everybody could laugh, and not just one group of people, but everybody could laugh. And I think that that's the talent that all of the Wayans family have is just being able to push that barrier or push close to the barrier, but still being able to make people laugh. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, Damon, he talked about it, I think, when he tried to come out with a television show, like right after My Wife and Kids was done, he tried to do like a no holds barred sketch show on Showtime. And like it just, he wanted to say all the things that people might come at him and might get offended, but he wanted to still make it funny. And I think you can still make things funny, but I think there's a fine line between pushing boundaries and also kind of being outdated as well.
Okay, hold on. Let's stay here for a second, right? Because you lead me to the point that I was going to ask you next. Because you always hear, particularly when you talk about comedy, oh, you can't say that these days, or oh, they could never make another blank like they did back in the day, or people are too PC nowadays. The woke mob is gonna get you if you tell a joke like this. So when you look at a film like the original Scary Movies, the first two from the Wayans before the Weinsteins took it from them, and then that bequeathed a bunch of stupid clones like those Seltzer and Friedberg movies, like Epic Movie and Date Movie and all of those dumbass movies that tried to copy the Wayans formula and failed miserably. But when you hear people like, oh, you can't tell the truth in comedy anymore, Ray. What do you think about this type of humor, and where you, like you said, you kind of stepping on the line, you're crossing the line, you pushing the envelope, and when you look at, I've seen thought pieces, by some younger folks out here in the community, where they're like, Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Tropic Thunder, like that's offensive, or they talk about like Vince Vaughn's character Raji from the movie Be Cool and how that's offensive. And I get it when they're looking through the lens of a modern 2026 young person's sensibilities, right? But how do you see artists kind of navigating that line where, yes, part of your job as an artist, as a creative, is to push boundaries and to make people think and go for the gusto when it comes to a joke, but you also want to have some craft and nuance in that comedy.
Yeah, I think it's a very skillful art being able to do that. The only thing that I think is specifically with this, first off, I mean, I think anything can still be touched upon. Just as long, like you said, as long as you're skillful and you still have the heart, is where you're not coming off malicious. I think you could still be able to. I think you could still be able to cross those lines and push those envelopes. But I think if you kind of seem like you've been hammering the same thing for the last 30 years, which I think Scary Movie 2026 is kind of trying to push new like ideas with the original things that they came up with like 25 years ago. Just over 25 years ago. Like I think, like you said, I think they're trying to put new spins on, like you said, with the Ray character. And by the way, I'm glad no one ever compared me to that. Even though they had the same name, I'm glad that they never came like those kind of comparisons. But
well, even with that character, like in the clips I've seen from the movie so far, with this character, like yes, there is still the gay jokes that are made with the Ray character, but it's almost as if Ray is taking ownership of it in a way. Like there's a clip in the first trailer where they're doing like a riff on Sinners, you know, with the white vampires trying to get into the house. And they're like, why don't you let us in, neighbor? Play some music, dance a little bit, maybe do some half gay things. And then Ray pops into the frame. Why only half gay, man? And so there's like a bit of ownership over the gay jokes with this version of Ray, as opposed to maybe, you know, the Ray that we saw in Scary Movie 1 or Scary Movie 2. But it's still like the joke is almost the same, Ray.
Yeah.
But it's almost like kind of the lens that they filter the joke through is a bit different now.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, they put some little twists on it to where they're still including more pop culture things. But like you mentioned, the I ain't gay no more, like that. Even that was like 10 years ago.
Yes.
So it's like, are you really like updating it a lot? And how many people?
It kind of feels like in I don't know if you've ever seen Double Toasted, Ray.
Yeah.
Shout out to Corey Coleman and nephew over there and Martin and the whole crew, man. Double Toasted is excellent, man. Like eventually, Ray, I'd like to see us kind of get to that level that they, you know, where they're doing the live shows and things of that nature. Like, I mean, like not live show like this, but like going to places and doing shows and things of that nature. Like, and they built that from the ground up, man. So like salute to Corey and Martin. Like, unless I hear a story that Corey was actually secretly rich this whole time, and I'd be like, But other than that, man, like shout out to Corey and Martin all day. They doing good work with the crew over there at Double Toasted. But they did a review of Scary Movie, the new one, and basically Martin gave it a low rental, and Corey gave it some old bullshit, because Corey was like, the jokes that they're telling, they would have been funny maybe 5-10 years ago for a lot of the film. And that like the I Am Delivered one is one of the ones that they pointed at. But Martin brought up the point, like it almost feels like these are jokes they would have made in the moment if they could have. But because this is their first foray with Scary Movie in all these years, they got a backlog of jokes they've been waiting to get off. And so they're going to throw everything at the wall in this one.
Yeah, that does make sense. I think that does make sense. And even like when I saw in the trailer, again, I think we were talking off air and I was mentioning Kim Wayans, who I haven't seen in something on screen for a while. But even her seeing is just like you're kind of bringing back that old trope of, oh, you gotta have a black woman who's like switching her head and like, we on break. We come back when we want to come back. And like, okay. Like, I love you, Kim Wayans. I'm glad you're getting a check, Kim. But it's like, oh, you're playing like another tired stereotype. So it's like, on one hand, and I hear like you said, some of the other reviews that I've heard, it's kind of been like hit or miss. So that's why I've kind of been reluctant to want to go see it, but I still want to see it for the experience of it being back. So as far as like risque humor still being relevant in 2026, I think there's still a place in it. Like I mentioned before, it just got to come from a good place and not from a place where you just want to tell the bad joke to get it out, or not bad joke, but you just want to cross the line just for the sake of crossing the line. Like, I think somebody was on, I want to say it was Mark Maron who was telling the story about Gilbert Gottfried telling like the first joke about 9/11, like after it happened or something like that. And so you gotta navigate those. You gotta navigate those spaces, especially if you're stand up, or especially if you're in like making movies or making television shows. You gotta navigate that with some type of like dignity and the word you use, nuance, and try not to be like balls to the wall where you just going at it like full steam and trying to like.
Well, even when you go balls to the walls, Ray, there's still, to me, like it's a two-sided coin. You got to have nuance, but there's also got to be like craft and skill behind it. Like you know me long enough, Ray. You know I can find humor in most situations, if not all situations.
Yes.
Like even in a serious situation, like there is some funniness to be had because humans are inherently funny to me, Ray. Like just the condition of humanity is inherently funny, and religion can be inherently funny, and race can be inherently funny, and sexuality can be inherently funny. You know, these jokes is rated E for everybody, right? Everybody can get it. But like one of my favorite comedies of all time is Blazing Saddles. And that's a movie that dealt with topics like race and found a way to be extremely funny and extremely clever with it and push some boundaries. But there was a nuance and a skill to it. Tropic Thunder, going back to Tropic Thunder. Like, I think that performance by Robert Downey Jr. is one of my favorite acting portrayals or acting jobs in the history of movies, Ray. Like what he did with that character shoot, I forget the actual actor's name because he was the dude playing a dude played by another dude. Like like the character in the movie is General Lincoln Osiris. But I can't remember I think it's like Kurt something is the Australian actor that he's playing. And he takes the bit so far to the fact that even if you listen to the DVD commentary, he's in character on the DVD commentary, which is brilliant. And so yes, I can understand why somebody, my youngest niece's age or somebody in that age group, Ray, would be like, he's doing blackface. That's not okay. Like, I understand why they would think that, but you have to look past the surface, which is kind of funny when you're talking about Robert Downey Jr. in the blackface, cuz look past the surface and see Kurt Lazarus was his name.
Yeah.
Kurt Lazarus was the actor playing Lincoln Osiris. But look past the surface and see what he's doing with this character. So I think yes, you can joke around with race, you can joke around with religion and politics and sexuality and all of these things. But to your point, there's a difference between making a joke to make a statement or make somebody think while they're laughing versus punching down and using your comedy as a battering ram to tear down people. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think there's a difference in what is the intent behind these jokes? You know what I'm saying? Are you joking to make people laugh and give people food for thought, or are you joking just to beat up on some trans people in your material?
Right. Or and we couldn't get to this one when it was happening. Sorry, Batman 313. But we couldn't get to this particular topic, but the Kevin Hart roast and everything going on with Tony Hinchcliffe. And his joke referring to George Floyd. I don't know. Did you hear about that?
Nah.
Oh, so he told a joke, and I guess he was talking about how. I guess he was talking about he was on something. I'm paraphrasing, but he was on something about how all of these comedians, how all these black folks are getting together and to roast Kevin Hart, and he said something to the effect of, man, I know George Floyd, he's looking at us and he's wanting to laugh, or he's laughing so hard that he can't breathe. He said something to that effect. And I'm just like, exactly. I was
and here's the thing, Ray. Here's the thing. So that I just gave you is not primarily due to the fact that Tony Hinchcliffe made a George Floyd joke. It's due to the fact that it's not a good George Floyd joke. Mm-hmm. Again, like George Floyd should not be dead, right? George Floyd should still be with us. But I do think that you could find some humor or cleverness in that whole situation with what went down in Minneapolis. But that's not it. Like, that's a lazy joke from Tony Hinchcliffe. Not that I expect George Carlin or Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy level comedy from Tony Hinchcliffe, but that is a joke, like you said, Ray. That is a joke being offensive for offensiveness' sake, which, again, to be fair, that's kind of what these roasts are, but at least have some cleverness with your joke, dog.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest debate. And then Kevin Hart was defending them and just saying that's what roasts are, and everybody, like you were saying, everybody can get it, and it's just like it's meant to push the envelope. But then on the other side, it's just like, but we don't trust this dude to say it with some tact.
That's the other thing too. Who is the messenger? Because I would trust Cat Williams all day, every day with a George Floyd joke.
Mm-hmm.
Not even, look, I'm not even going to limit it to black comedians. I would trust Gary Owen.
Yeah.
All day, every day with a George Floyd joke. That's a white comedian who has shown time and time again. He can joke about race. He often jokes about race, Ray, but it's a joke where the punchline is not black people are so stupid, black people are so poor, black people are so dumb. The punchline is how funny the construct of race is in America. Like, that's the punchline of the Gary Owen jokes when he goes to racial comedy. Whereas this Tony Hinchcliffe joke, like, again, man, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, Ray. Maybe he told it way better than you just related to me. Maybe there was a little bit more razzle dazzle on the Tony Hinchcliffe joke about George Floyd at the roast, Ray. But if, like, just go judging by the content of the joke, it's just like, that's a lazy joke, man. It's a lazy joke.
Yeah, it's lazy. But hey, we've seen this from Tony Hinchcliffe before with his performance at the Trump rally, where he wants to push the envelope, he wants to shock people, but it's just straight up lazy. With the one particular joke, he talked about a floating island of trash and then named it Puerto Rico. Yeah, we know he can be good for a lazy and an offensive joke all in one.
You're like, hey, dog, lazy and offensive. If you need lazy and offensive, I got you, cuz.
That's my lane, cuz.
So here's the thing, Ray. Let's keep going. Let's keep going with this, man. Because again, I feel like part of the reason stuff like this gets so kind of charged at times is because people don't have these conversations. Because we all, like, I don't care if you're the most educated, learned person, most liberal person in the whole wide world. You done chuckled at something that could be considered racist or offensive or sexist or something to that nature before, Ray. Ray is like, I don't know where this brother is leading us. But here's the thing, Ray. What I want to do right now is let's talk about some characters from movie or TV history that might be considered offensive for whatever reason that we kind of enjoyed. Okay? So I'm going to give you an example. Like, this is not one that's going to be on my list, Ray, but a character that could be considered offensive, maybe even racist, that people enjoyed because of the portrayal, Archie Bunker from All in the Family. You know what I mean? Like, Archie Bunker, if you just look at Archie Bunker as if he was a real dude, you wouldn't want to hang out with Archie Bunker. But if you're watching him on the TV with your grandmama, Ray, Archie Bunker kind of funny.
Right.
So along those lines, are there any characters from TV or movies that you're like, yeah, that's offensive, but I kind of got a chuckle out of it?
Ooh. I think the first one that comes to mind, and if you guys are familiar with the history of this particular character, like, you guys will know, like, just the base behind it and the personal plays. It isn't truly who it's always something when it's a white man playing someone else. But I'm gonna go with Apu from The Simpsons.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Portrayed by Hank Azaria, who is not Indian at all.
He played a lot of people on that show that he wasn't. Like, I think he played like a couple black characters because they didn't hire any black voice actors at the time. But yeah, Apu is a good one. Because and I think what makes Apu good, Ray, is yes, on its surface, there is a bit of racism there, right? A bit of stereotypes there. There is. Like you can definitely say, like, I don't know. Particularly if you were somebody from that culture. You're like, I don't know how I feel about this. But the character was entertaining. The character was fun.
And
I hate to say it, right? I hate to say it.
Yeah, the performance was like awesome. The performance was great. I mean, I know again, he's not Indian, and I think Harry Blue, who did a documentary on it, The Problem with Apu, he just states like all the issues wrong with it and how he had to be compared to Apu as a kid, and knowing that Apu was pretty much the primary representative of Indian and South Asian culture in the United States, and how he had to kind of overcome that. But doggone it, Apu was hilarious. I can't say he wasn't funny.
No. You hate the player, don't hate the player, hate the game, y'all.
Right.
Okay, Ray. I'm glad you brought up Apu. Because that's a great example. That's exactly kind of the line that I'm thinking of. While I am speaking about this, Ray, I need you to Google or get your Google fingers ready, because as I talk about these characters, I want an image on the screen while we.
I was thinking about that too. Yep.
So, and I wish Brittany was here. Shout out to Brittany Monet. She was supposed to join us for this edition of the Parley, that lady from the top of the show. But she big timed us. She out there in Hollywood. We get it. But I wish Brittany was here, because she is a Disney girly at heart. And there's a movie, Ray. Speaking of South Asian characters, it's a movie called Lady and the Tramp. It's a classic love story. If y'all ain't seen Lady and the Tramp, it's a typical boy meets girl story, but in dog form. They meet, they fall in love, they from opposite sides of the track, they share a plate of spaghetti, which ain't hygienic at all. But they fall in love, and they have to fight for that love against various characters in this universe. And there are two characters, right, in particular, that would not fly today. Matter of fact, in any new adaptation of Lady and the Tramp, they are either severely minimized or they're not there at all. But I got to show some love to two characters who definitely are racist, definitely are stereotypes. But damn it, if they ain't had one of the best songs in the whole animated movie game, Ray, the Siamese Cats from Lady and the Tramp, my boy. What? Ray, look at them right there, man. Racist caricature. We can all see. We can all see the racist characters, ladies and gentlemen. If you watching, you see the racism in their faces. But what you don't hear is that song, Ray. They coming down the stairs talking about, we are Siamese, if you please. Wait for it, Ray. We are Siamese, if you don't please. Like, whoa! The lyricism, right? The beat, like, boom, 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 boom. We are Siamese. If you like, come on, Ray. Come on. Look, you can look at that picture and tell me it's racist. Okay, I get it. It's a caricature. But that song, Ray, that song was amazing. Tell me that song wasn't amazing, Ray.
I mean, yeah, when I heard it, it was a bop, as the kids say.
Shout out to the Siamese Cats from Lady of the Tramp. Yes, definitely racist, but what a bop, what a bop. Any other nominees we could put on this offensive yet entertaining Mount Rushmore?
Oh, yeah. I mean, besides the pool, I'm trying to see if there's anybody who jumps out right at, man. I'm trying to think.
I got another one while you're thinking, Ray. And again, I don't know why the last three of our nominees are, references to South Asian culture, but maybe I do. Because there used to be a crime-fighting superhero back in the day, Ray, produced by the Hanna-Barbera Company. By day, he was a lowly janitor, Ray. But whenever crime popped off in his city, he would jump into the file cabinet as a janitor, but come out as Hong Kong Phooey, number one super guy, brother. Hong Kong Phooey, he was quicker than the human eye. So I know most of our audience, probably like half of our audience knows exactly what I'm talking about, Ray. And the other half is like, I have no recollection of Hong Kong Phooey. So let me tell y'all, for the nieces and nephews in the audience, Hong Kong Phooey was this character made by Hanna-Barbera, and he was a crime-fighting, karate-chopping dog, Ray. And he was voiced not by somebody of Asian descent. He was voiced by Scatman Crothers. And so it was like a double offense, because he spoke like some jive talking black dude from the streets, but he had the mannerisms and the affectations of a kung fu karate master. And so he would like beat somebody up like, he'd beat somebody up and he'd be like, well, I'll be an elephant flying in the sky. He got knocked out and I don't know why. It's like, I'm doubly offended, but I'm also doubly entertained, Ray, because it's Hong Kong. And then the theme song, Ray, it came on, it was like some Fat Albert and the Junkyard Band type of percussion, like bing, 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 bing. And then it was like, get ready, because here I come. Bang, ding, 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 ding. Hong Kong Phooey, a number one super guy. Yes, Hong Kong Phooey is up there on the Mount Rushmore of offensive characters. That was kind of entertaining, Ray. I can't help it.
Yes.
I was a kid, Ray. I didn't know no better, man.
Well, and just seeing that kind of reminds me, and this might be just like a honorable mention, but Dragonfly Jones from Martin.
Yes, Dragonfly Jones. And another one, Ray, and again, I think a lot of these take place in animation because it's like, if you look at some of the history of like particularly Western animation, a lot of it during like World War II and stuff like that was like these exaggerated caricatures of our enemies at the time, like the Germans and the Japanese and whatnot. But another one who they've tried to do some image rehab over the last like 15, 20 years, Ray. And at present time, I think he's actually voiced by a Latino voice actor. Got to give it up for Mr. Andale Arriba himself, Ray. Speedy Gonzalez, man. Boy, Speedy. The fastest mouse in all of Mexico. Offensive, yes, but even Speedy couldn't outrun the offense. But again, if you were a kid, man, Speedy Gonzalez was one of the coolest characters on Looney Tunes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, man, he was just like, and especially with some of the characters that you had. I know the Looney Tunes, like most of them did talk, but I was kind of thinking of like Tom and Jerry, where the cat and the mouse, they didn't really talk that much, and so now you got the talking mouse.
Well, real quick, Ray, real quick. Tom and Jerry got one of the most offensive characters that was not entertaining at all. And that was Mammy Two Shoes. When Mammy Two Shoes, I don't think we ever saw Mammy Two Shoes' face, but just the ankles was offensive to me when we saw them ankles. Thomas, get back in the house, Thomas. Like, you don't take this slave lady off my screen. Like even as a kid, I was like, ooh, I don't like this. You done ruin the whole cartoon for me, lady. But I was never like that with Speedy. Like every time Speedy came on the screen, Ray, like, andale arriba. I'm like, yeah, Speedy. Get him, Speedy.
Yeah, man. I used to be the same way. Like Speedy was a man. And sorry for our Hispanic Latine brothers and sisters.
Here's the thing, Ray. I'm gonna say it. I don't know. I can't speak to their experience. You know what I'm saying? I would have to speak to some of our friends in the space, like Tatiana Hollander. I always love chopping it up with Tati, or our good sister Denise Salcedo. You know what I'm saying? Our brother Scrump. You know what I'm saying? People of that ilk. But I would wager, Ray. I can't speak 100% on this, but I would wager even as a kid, our Latinx brothers and sisters, they probably dug Speedy, man, because he was cool.
Yeah, he was cool.
Now his cousin Slowpoke, that's a different story. Slowpoke was just like, I don't know Speedy, and like, I don't even know about that one.
I don't know about you.
I don't know, Slowpoke. You need to leave. Very slowly, but you need to leave.
Yeah. You're gonna get to the door eventually, brother. Just go see yourself out, Slowpoke.
There's so many racist animations out there, but we didn't care because we was kids, right?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, if you just go down the list of Looney Tunes, even not only like racist, but I think one racist, Foghorn Leghorn. You go towards him.
I say it's heritage, not hate, Ray. I say.
Doggone, if you want to get towards like the misogynist, semi-rape culture area, you could go to a Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, Pepe was on the island.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know. Like, we don't know, but we know.
Mm-hmm.
My Le Pew.
Oh, Lord,
like that cat don't like you, Pepe. Leave her alone.
Right. No means no, Pepe. Jeez.
And again, as we was dumb kids, Ray, we just watched like, isn't that funny? And like, no, it's not funny.
It's really not.
That cat has clearly stated she don't want to be with you, Pepe.
Right. And that's the thing too. That's another thing where it's like the product of the times that you just tell people, hey, it was a different time back then. That's all you can say. It was a different time. I'm not excusing it.
To be fair, it was around the same time when you actually had a show where the punchline, Ray, the joke at the end of every episode was a veiled, not even a veiled threat, a direct threat of domestic violence.
Oh, yeah.
One of these days, Alice, zoom, pow, right in the kisser to the moon. Like, whoa, hold on, my boy.
Yeah.
Why you threatening this lady at the end of every episode? Like if I don't even remember the names of the characters on the honeymoon. I just know it was Ralph and Alice. But whoever Ralph's friend was, why didn't he say like, hey, Ralphie boy, why, hey, y'all need to go to therapy. You can't just be threatening your wife at the end of every one of our weekly episodes and adventures on these streets.
Yeah, emotional intelligence wasn't a thing back in the 60s, brother.
Like, that's all I needed was one episode, Ray. Just one of these days, Alice, pow, zoom, right in the, hey, Ralph, this is what we call misplaced anger. Mm-hmm. You're not mad at Alice, you're mad at yourself. Yeah, because you're a garbage man in New York City and you ain't making no money, dog.
Are you
Let's address that?
Are you attacking the only person that loves you, brother? Let's go on the couch.
Why are you pushing Alice away, Ralph?
Ain't nobody laughing at the end of that episode. They did. Just like, maybe
the last episode of the honeymoon is like the honeymooners has been canceled.
Right. Hey, back then they were doing a live studio audience, like everybody in the audience just pondering, like, wait.
At least with Ricky and Lucy, like Ricky would yell at Lucy all the time, but he ain't never try to threaten her, like, Lucy, I'm gonna beat you up, man.
Right.
Was Ricky Ricardo an offensive stereotype, or was that just Desi Arnaz, right?
I think that was just Desi Arnaz.
Okay, because I love Desi Arnaz, man. I don't know Desi Arnaz. He could have been a terrible person, but I do remember one of the commercials that scared me as a kid. Not really scared me, but it always like stuck with me, like in a haunting fashion, right? Was for those that don't know, Desi Arnaz played Ricky Ricardo on the I Love Lucy show. Big star on TV, and like I think he was like a real life like musician and stuff too. But he died through lung cancer, I want to say, or throat cancer, one of the two, because he was a heavy smoker. Because everybody back then was, I think I Love Lucy was sponsored by a cigarette company at one point. And like, so he went. This must have been like I don't know when he died. Ray, it had to have been in the 80s because I was a kid. But I remember like he did a commercial to like stop smoking. And he showed like he was all withered up and going through the effects of cancer. And like, I want to never ever to smoke. Take it from Desi. I love Lucy, but I don't love cigarettes. And it's just like, I don't know what emotion I'm supposed to be feeling right now, Desi Arnaz. I am a kid. This is way too much information to put on me as a child, Desi.
So it says 1986 when he passed.
Okay, yeah, that tracks then, yeah. Because I remember the commercial. It was like maybe a year or so before he died. So like maybe like late 85. It was like a no smoking commercial with Desi Arnaz, and he was telling people to stop smoking because he knew he was about to die. Yeah. Shout out to Desi Arnaz, man.
Shout out.
And Lucy, you got some planning to do, man. It's a very short line to go from Desi Arnaz to Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
Say good night to the bad guy, man. Like Desi Arnaz, Razor Ramon, and Tony Montana is like three sides of the same coin, right?
Exactly. Well, that's what Scott Hall, he said he got Razor Ramon from Scarface, so I wouldn't be surprised.
And Tony Montana got it from Desi Arnaz. It's all part of the learning tree, brother. But speaking of learning trees, Ray Williams.
Oh,
we may have a brother. You and I have talked about some characters through comedy and TV and movies that, even though they may have been offensive, like we enjoyed the portrayal. This brother may have a even wider palette of people to choose from. So let's bring on another member of the Nefarious Media Network team. You know him, you love him. He is the angry intellectual. He is the mayor pro tem of Los Angeles, California. He is the man that masterminded the trade, Ray, to bring Luka Doncic in the middle of the night, no less, to bring Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers and took them all the way to a second round NBA playoff exit. Y'all give it up. From the streets of LA, our good brother and our friend, the Professor Chris Ely. Can we rock? What's up, Doc?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm sorry. I don't know. I must have got my times confused or something. So my bad.
I'm not laughing at you, Chris. I'm laughing because I told Ray this is exactly what was going to happen. Like Chris is going to pop up maybe 15, 20 minutes in, and he's going to be like, "Hey, man, the time zone, baby."
But it wasn't even the time zone. It was just I didn't know exactly the time we were going to start. So
okay.
I was just writing and stuff. So
nice. How you been, brother?
I've been good. Hold on one second. Amazon lights white. Anyway,
the lights are white.
Yeah.
So Ray and I have been having a conversation, Chris, based off of the latest scary movie from the Wayans, which is #1 at the box office right now, and kind of talking about the idea of offensive comedy still being relevant and like some of our favorite characters from back in the day. Maybe favorite is a strong word, but characters that we can acknowledge intellectually may not have been the most politically correct or the most progressive, like an Apu from The Simpsons or an Archie Bunker. But we still enjoyed the portrayal. Do you have any characters like that where you're like, you can say like, yeah, that may be a stereotypical portrayal or even a outright racist or sexist portrayal, but the performance was really good?
Yeah, it'd probably be something like Apu, maybe George Jefferson, Archie Bunker, Red Fox on Sanford and Son, all that kind of stuff used to kind of. And I think the thing with like someone like a Archie Bunker, that show was on the air for like a lot of years. It started off as All in the Family. And then when Gene Stapleton left the show, it changed to Archie Bunker's Place. But Archie Bunk didn't stay the exact same bigot from episode 1 of the show until the final episode of Archie Bunker's Place. You got to see some growth out of him as well. Even the character of Apu, I know it was offensive, and it rightfully so. I mean, and I think when I talk to Indian people about that show, the it's either split into people not caring, or the ones that do care, it's not so much that they care about the portrayal per se. It's more so like we don't have that much representation on television, and this is the only thing we have, and
like
it's
the most famous one that
right,
we got.
yeah. And it's and he's voiced by a white guy. Same with what's his name? Fisher Stevens in Short Circuit, you know. And so I still get people to this day that don't know that was a white guy playing that dude at Short Circuit, you know. And that, I think, though, that's kind of the problem with this stuff. It's like you can if the Simpsons, if Apu started off as an Indian character played by an Indian guy from the first episode, it might have been received a little bit differently, you know. I don't know if you guys ever watched King of the Hill. So there's a character on there, John Redcorn, who's the father of or could be the father.
Allegedly, Chris.
Allegedly, he could be the father. But the thing is the guy that voiced John Redcorn, I think both guys, because the first guy that voiced him died, I think both of them are Native American, you know. So and I think that kind of changes the dynamic of these things, you know. And
real quick, Chris. Speaking of King of the Hill, one of my favorite characters on King of the Hill, and like he actually had a really great character arc, but I get why some people were offended because of who portrayed him, was Khan. Hank's neighbor. Like there was like this upper class Vietnamese dude that was living out with all these hillbillies, to use his language, Chris. And I thought like there was some really great Khan episodes, but I get it. Like if you're Vietnamese and you're like this is one of the only dudes we got in the whole game, and it's a white dude voicing them.
Right, yeah. Because I mean, and that's the same thing. Because The Simpsons, a lot of those characters were Lenny and Carl. Carl was voiced by a white guy. Dr. Hibbert's voiced by a white guy, and all that stuff. And I don't think the black community was as offended by it, but there's a lot of black representation in media, you know. So it's not, you know, anything. And even once all the George Floyd stuff happened, and they were like, okay, let's get Alex Desire to voice Carl now, and who voices? I think it's Kevin Michael Richardson that voices Dr. Hibbert. Now I'm not 100% sure about that, but yeah, it's just
who they should have had play him, because Kevin Michael Richardson is known as a great voice actor anyway. So.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's not like he's been a great voice actor for decades, like since the beginning of The Simpsons. So I don't know why they didn't just call this brother in 1989.
Because you had a writing room. Like, no offense to the writing room, because y'all know my man's in them. Conan O'Brien was part of that team, but it's like you got a writing room full of mainly Harvard educated white dudes,
right?
And I don't think it was an active choice to have these characters that are ethnic voiced by white people, but I think they just picked the people they knew, which are going to be other white people.
And then it's a similar thing you see with Family Guy too, with Cleveland.
Don't get me started on Cleveland.
Because it was Mike. What's his name? The guy that voices Cleveland Brown. Forget his name.
Mike White Guy.
Yeah. But anyway,
Hampton white guys.
So I mean, it just, and to me, it's one of those things where it's like it does make sense to have just, you know, the ethnicity of the person voice the character, even though, you know, it just eliminates a lot of, you know, this kind of thing, you know, because I listen to Hank Azaria on what's the show called? the show he did with um Neil Brennan. He gave it.
Okay.
He did an interview with Neil Brennan, and it's easy to kind of not to do a character like Apu for that amount of time and not really be thinking about like who it might be offensive to. Um, and it's easy to be an Indian guy and not be offended by that character until you read this book and said, look at the book. It's like, wait a second, this guy's right, because that's how things come up, bubblate. That's how ideas come, is like someone introduces you to a concept you might not have been thinking about before, or maybe you were thinking about it, but you weren't thinking about it in that exact same way. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think when you're enlightened of something, you should change. And I give credit to Hank Azaria too, because he could have easily taken the red hat rebranding stance where he was just be like, oh yeah, F all y'all, this is I make money, because people do that shit.
Yeah.
They offend people and don't care. He was at least able to sit down with the people and have conversations and realize that that maybe the Simpsons didn't do this character the best service they could have done it, right? And that's the problem. The problem with joking, and just in general, and I was taught this way back when I started like bartending and working the door at comedy clubs and stuff. Every joke has a fall guy. Every joke has a victim. That's just the fact. You know what I'm saying? It's like you make fun of Cole off of Martin, who's dumb as a rock. Dumb people might get offended by that,
might take them a while to get the joke, but once they do, it's over, Chris.
Yeah. Or like because that was the thing. Because I mean, I think conversations are important. I think a lot of times too, people kind of remember things differently than I remember them, because even with a show like Martin, Martin was just, to me, it's still the greatest show of all time. But one of the constants on that show was the banter back and forth between Martin and Pam. And people are looking back at Martin's interactions with Pam and saying, oh, he was like so offensive and this and that. And Pam was like on the level of Martin with her jokes. Yeah, the thing is like every guy on that show thought Pam was hot stuff. Every single guy on that show wanted to date Pam. The only guy on that show that was insulting Pam was Martin,
Right.
Go back and watch the episodes, and it was them insulting each other,
Correct.
It was like, and they all had their little like quirks about them that got insulted by everyone, like Pam with the buckshots and
DDB.
Martin with the height and the ears,
Gina's
Tommy
big
and his
head.
bald head, Gina and her big head, and then Cole and his stupidity,
Right.
So
It was
I don't look at
all very
Martin
head related.
as
Head related.
and even like with him, dressing like the women and stuff like that, and then I've seen women get offended at that, say, well, like when white guys portray women, it's always done with respect and shit like that. I'm like, seriously? seriously, are we doing this? Because I was like, you could say, yeah, Tootsie was whatever, and Mrs. Doubtfire, and I don't know if I would call that respectful if you really sit back and think of what this guy did. But
He was
it's
just
like
trying to get his family
the
back.
white
Chris,
guys
by
do
any
it
means
too. Like
necessary.
Buzzin' Buddies with Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari, they were playing stereotypical white men acting like stereotypical white women. What's the sorority boys? So much shit like that,
The
So
hot chick with Rob Snyder.
yeah,
He's a whole different.
Yeah, it's like it's like I think these conversations are important, but I do also think it's important to kind of contextualize them and put them in perspective. Because the girl that I was arguing had the Pam and Martin thing I was arguing about. She actually did come back up to me like a week or so later and said, like, yeah, you were right. Like it's really only Martin and Pam going back and forth with each other, and Pam's enemies like Shanae, which is Martin still, but yeah, it's those kind of things. So I think these kind of like with these characters and stuff, I think the conversations around them are always important. Like, and we kind of determine where these things fit in the lexicon, and all that, and what time they were in. Like
I think another
I
thing,
used
Chris,
to watch Amos and Andrew or Amos and Andy with my granddaddy back in the day, that wasn't the best portrayal, but for what those guys did, it was a stepping stone. Like, you don't want to see that shit in 2026, right? But for that time, it was what it was, or even if you watch like the old cartoons from like the 30s and 40s and 50s, which that's all I used to do in the 80s and 90s is watch like Looney Tunes, and I loved all those Looney Tunes cartoons,
you don't
even the
understand,
racist ones.
You look great. You could get
because that was just what was on in front of me. Like, I don't know if you remember this, Nate. This might be a little bit after your time, Ray, but you're about the same age as my brother. My brother remembers this. So, but TNT used to have a block Monday through Friday called TNT Tunes Till Noon, and it would be like 4-hour, 5-hour block of just Looney Tunes cartoons from like back in the day. And some of those cartoons were like be racist, and like the Tom and Jerry cartoons would have Mammy Two Shoes.
That's what Nate brought up earlier.
Yeah. She'd be like hitting people, like beating the hell out of Tom, calling him Jasper. I think his name might have been Jasper back then, but she was like beating his ass and stuff. There was an episode of Tom and Jerry where Tom and Jerry is trying to get with this hot cat.
Is you is,
and
or is
he
you
starts
ain't
singing this song, "Is you is or is you ain't my baby," that kind of thing. So I mean, it's one of those. Yeah, I think these conversations are important to have, is what I'll say.
Right. And I'll go ahead. I think Brother Nate dropped off. I did want to bring up one character, and I'm glad that you kind of brought up, because I know Brother Nate brought up Archie Bunker. You brought up George Jefferson, and I think we're starting to sense a theme here with Brother Norman Lear, who created all these shows or developed all these shows. But one person that stood out to me, and while he may not be like a racial stereotype as far as under somebody's nationality and portraying a nationality the same. I think for black folks, they thought he was hilarious at the time, but then they thought about it and it was like, oh, this brother acting like a minstrel. And that is brother JJ from
Yeah. Yeah, that was John Amos used to he wasn't a big fan of that, that's what got him fired from the show was his complaining about, and it wasn't JJ the character per se as much as it was the writing for JJ is like
right.
and they really did like make him increasingly more imbecilic. He did have moments of levity, like once Esther Roll, because she left the show too,
Right.
She left the show because she didn't like, they had like right after James died, they had her get with another guy played by fantastic actor Moses Gunn. And she wasn't really feeling the like, why would she, this isn't Florida wouldn't be moving on this fast,
Right.
And when she did come back to the show, they did remove a lot of that kind of buffoonish fuckery from JJ. They got rid of a lot of it, and Norman Lear is kind of a complicated figure in television lore too, because people, if you ask, people either loved him or hated him.
Right.
People say that a lot of people, I've had these conversations, like I've talked to actors that have worked with Norman Lear. I'm the late Demond Wilson. I was Facebook friends with him. He played Lamont. He just recently died, but I was Facebook friends with the guy. And he said that he didn't have a lot of interaction with Norman Lear because Norman Lear his involvement with the show was just adapting that show from Steptoe and Son, which was a British show, which is what they do a lot of times with famous British shows. They adapt them from English shows like Three's Company, Man About the House, and all that kind of shit. But yeah, man, it's like yeah, I like a lot of those. I was entertained by a lot of that stuff. All the Hanna-Barbera cartoons from back in the day. Haji from Johnny Quest. He was my favorite character on that show. They did update Haji on The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, which came out in the 90s. I think I don't even know, and I understand kind of why The Simpsons haven't brought Apu back, because I don't really know how you remedy that. I don't, because you could bring an Indian guy to play him now, but it almost probably seemed like pandering at this point, right? You could just say Hank Azaria play him again, but then it's like you just haven't learned your lesson, so it's like, or you just don't care about this community. So until they figure that out, that's probably, maybe they could write a spinoff for Apu and have an Indian guy voice him from the first episode, and maybe it'll be received differently. I don't know.
Well, I think you could come up, and again, I think this is something you could still do. You could still do in 2026. I think you can flip it on its head, because I think they killed off Apu. I think,
They didn't kill him off.
They didn't kill him off?
No, they didn't kill him off. They just haven't bought him back. They just wrote him off. And,
You need to leave, Apu.
yeah,
You need to leave.
Well, I think
So
you can
is Nate's audio working?
it is.
Did Ray mute me?
Okay, so I'm not hearing them.
Oh, I can hear him. I can hear both of y'all.
Okay, so I can't hear Nate right now. So
Uh,
I don't know. So I don't know what
you
you're
know
doing
how
this
Ray be
time,
muting
Ray,
people,
but,
y'all.
he said I'm muting him like I mute everybody else.
All right. Should I refresh my page and come back, or
If you want to, yeah, I know he had to go in and out because I think there might have been something going on with his stuff earlier. So if you want to,
Yeah.
let me see. Let's do that real quick. I'll
Okay.
close my door and all that stuff too.
Alexa door.
Alexa door.
While we waiting on Professor to come back, what were you saying about Apu? How they could flip it?
Well, I think if they did, so you guys saying they didn't kill him off. So I think you can either bring him back or bring back maybe a family member of his to take over the Quickie Mart, and then don't have them talk yet. Kind of have like your principal characters like a Bart come in and is, oh, what's going on, Apu? It's good to see you back. Oh, welcome to the Quickie Mart. Like, have them playing towards it, and then either Apu or like Apu's son would just be like, you know, I'm actually first generation American. I've just been saying that to make y'all feel comfortable.
Right, yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Maybe
But I think
like that.
another thing that I was telling Ray earlier, Chris, if you can hear me now, if Ray hadn't muted us.
I hear you.
And I think this will be the last thing I say on this before we kind of pivot to the next topic. But I think something that has to be considered when you talk about offensive comedy, you know, if you want to phrase it that way, Chris, is the spirit of the person that's saying the joke.
Right, yeah. That's all.
You know, because Ray brought up Tony Hinchcliffe and that lame joke he made about George Floyd at the Kevin Hart roast, where we've seen countless examples in history of people that have walked up to that line, Chris, or crossed that line, if you want to say that, and been able to do it in a artful way, a skillful way, like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, or thinking back to like Mel Brooks with what they did with Blazing Saddles back in the day.
Yeah.
Like there's a way to do it which is clever and funny, and yeah, you still getting these jokes off, and you still pushing lines and pushing buttons, but the spirit is, at the end of the day, we all gonna laugh about it because humanity is a ridiculous thing when you step back and think about our existence in this world, and we can all make jokes about it and laugh together versus I'm going to come up here and make a bunch of jokes about these black people or these trans people or these women.
I got it, babe. Never mind. I have it. Okay, cool. All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, this is my cell phone. Anyway, long story. But anyway,
man, Norman Lear calling Chris right now. You got to say, player.
And Tony.
Norman Lear passed away.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris got that good playing, man. That's that 70s. You got that afterlife playing.
That ain't that spectrum right there.
Yeah.
Had a conversation with Prince over the weekend. Prince still trying to get him to convert to the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right, yeah.
Come on, Chris. It's better on the other side.
Yeah. But as far as like Tony Hinchcliffe is concerned, Tony Hinchcliffe is a racist, fucking unfunny dweeb. He's never been funny. He's been funny to a certain sect of racists,
to the manosphere.
Yeah, that appreciate that kind of racist joke. Dave Chappelle said this a long time ago, and I believe him. He said a lot of those comedians that do those kind of racist jokes, they do it as a backdoor way of being racist, you know?
Right.
George Floyd happened in 2020. We are now in 2026, and he's still telling those jokes. People have sat with that George Floyd thing in front of, you know, that happened during the pandemic where everybody like was kind of forced to watch it because there wasn't much to do during the pandemic. A lot of, eyes were on the television. If I had a choice in the matter, I would have probably never sat down to watch what Derek Chauvin did to George Floyd. Kevin Hart is a perpetrator because he's set a precedent for apologizing for jokes. So I don't know what his deal is now, like when he offended the gay community in that first stand-up special, and like years later, people from the LGBTQ community got offended by those jokes because they were brutal jokes, if you even want to call them jokes. He was slated to host the Oscars that year. When those jokes came out, he dropped out and people were just like banging him relentlessly for it. He apologized, and then he over apologized, and he just got tired of apologizing. So, and the thing with comedy is when you are a comedian, you got to be very, very careful about apologizing for jokes, because you either never apologize or you set parameters on your apology. Because once you apologize once, and this is what D.L. Hughley taught me a long time ago, is like, once you apologize once, you're going to be continually having to do this. And the problem with Kevin Hart in that roast special, if it was a situation, and this is something I've had to deal with too when I've worked at comedy clubs. When you are in the club, if they want you to put away your phone or lock away your phone or whatever like that, you are in that room and you can just anticipate you're going to probably hear some offensive jokes that day. And you either have to accept it or you don't accept it, right? If you're going to be in that room, you can't be the one heckler in there badgering the comedian, right? There have been instances where it's been the whole room turn against the comedian because they told a joke that the whole room didn't like, and that's instance, then the club promoter or we ain't got control over that, if that happens. But for the most part, if the joke they try to keep the jokes in the comedy room. The problem with the Netflix special is it was a Netflix special, which means the joke left the room, and once the joke left the room, the public is free to react to it however they want to react to it.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what Kevin Hart is failing to understand, and just to be so nonchalant and brazen about it. Like, I'm not gonna start a boycott against Kevin Hart. I might purposely choose not to watch his movies. I'm not gonna tell everyone else, to do that. That's whatever you do is your business. Or I might decide to, but I just can't. This was a level of disgusting that I just can't stomach, and it's a constant like thing where you want to chop this up to comedy and stuff, and like Michael Che said, you only had white guys write for that special. The joke about Melania Trump's lame ass, that got taken out. There were jokes about people that were censored from that show, and somehow the George Floyd joke remained. And the only people that offered any kind of kickback from what I saw, because I didn't watch the special, I just saw the clips, was like Chelsea Handler and Cheryl Underwood, and that was probably about it. I saw the Rock set, but
Well, the thing is, Chris, like I was telling Ray earlier, it wasn't even a good joke. That's
it wasn't like
Gary Owen is a white guy who makes jokes where black people are frequently the punchline. But there's an artfulness and a skillfulness, and the messenger is important, Chris, because
right.
Gary Owen got love for black people, and so he's making observations. Because here's the thing, Chris: black folks is ridiculous. You know what else?
Yeah.
White folks is ridiculous. Japanese people are ridiculous. Human beings are ridiculous because that is a condition of humanity. So I'm not saying you can't make a joke about black people or gay people or women. Like, it's how you do it and who does it. Whereas Tony Hinchcliffe is somebody who is lazy, who has shown himself to be racist, who has shown himself to be offensive just for offense's sake. You like Gary Owen, I'm sure if you gave Gary Owen an hour, he could probably come up with a George Floyd joke, Chris, where yes, that is a serious situation, but I'm sure Gary could come up with something that I'd be like, you know what, that's clever. I get it.
Right. Like even with like if you so you're naming Gary Owen and even like that one old white guy that used to be on you
talking about Honest John, though?
Honest John, yeah. And I think he's still around too, you know.
Shout out to Honest John wherever he is.
Yeah, like Honest John and
unless
those
he's smacking now.
Yeah, I don't think so. But,
he's too honest.
yeah. But those were people that like could tell jokes to a black audience and get laughs. I'll say this too. Even with a comedian like Andrew Dice Clay, he was a little bit more. Andrew Dice Clay fit a very certain stereotype to me. I thought he
Miss Muffet. Oh,
yeah. I thought his jokes were offensive, and I thought he was like, I thought he's more funny than John Hinchcliffe. I'll say that.
Yes.
Because I saw some people trying to compare him to Andrew Dice Clay.
Dickory Doc. Oh,
yeah, and I think Hinchcliffe wishes he's not even Dice on a good day.
I'm glad you said Dice, Chris, because another comedian from Dice's heyday who was also offensive and also pushed lines but found a way to be clever with it, Sam Kinison, the late great Sam Kinison.
Yeah. Like John Hinchcliffe is not funny.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Or Tony Hinchcliffe, right? Yeah, what I say? Yeah,
I'm sure John Hinchcliffe is a fine person, whoever he is.
Yeah, he's wherever he is. Unless you're Tony Hinchcliffe's brother. Then
unless he's the nephew.
Yeah, but
John Hinchcliffe.
To me, because I never thought Sarah Silverman was particularly funny when she did the racist jokes, but she was funnier than this fool, like John Hinchcliffe is
Bill Burr when he does racial comedy is like there's care and nuance and intent and thought put behind it, Chris.
Yes, with him, with Bill Burr, just the way he did when he talks about, like, when a white guy talks about an Asian, he sounds racist because he says this motherfucking Asian, and then the black guy, the way he says it, Asian motherfucker over here, doesn't sound as racist,
That's a funny race joke.
Right, yeah, it's like one of that, or even like with Gilbert Gottfried when he would tell those Lisa Lampanelli, was that her name? Lisa Lampanelli?
Lisa Lampanelli. Yeah.
When he would tell those jokes about her and fucking the black guys, and then he said one joke about no black guy wants to fuck a white woman who's as big as a slave ship, and just like, like you can be funny in a way where black people laugh at the joke and don't think they're the joke, the butt of the joke, or even if it's someone like a Dice who you might even think you're the butt of the joke there too. Dice is just so funny at his delivery that you really can't even
diddle, the cat and the fiddle. Oh,
yeah, you really can't even take it serious, And I think that's what I think Hinchcliffe is just missing new. Like Hinchcliffe is a comedian for racist people. He is that
lazy
right.
comedian.
Yeah, he is one of those guys off of the Five, and none of those guys on the Five are funny. You know, Greg Gutfeld's not funny. Jesse Waters is not funny.
No,
none of them are funny. You know, and that's what Hinchcliffe is.
I gotta chuckle out of Dana Perino every now and then, Chris.
Yeah. You know, there were other ones too, like yeah. And then what's the guy's name? I hate the Five too, because like anytime I watch the Five and Jesse Waters is on there telling his jokes, and poor old Harold Ford or just sits there
is Harold Ford like the new Juan Williams, like the new black guy on the Five?
I guess so. I don't know if he's on every, because I don't watch the Five regularly, but anytime I happen to catch a clip of it, and Harold Ford is on there, he's just letting these white guys bust on him, and it shames me because I've met Harold Ford several times. He's from my former state, Tennessee. And I thought he had a lot more dignity than this, but I guess maybe once maybe once MSNBC fired him,
you're like, hey, somebody got to pay these bills, dog.
Yeah, that was the only job he could get. I don't know, but I just wouldn't be putting up with that shit.
Everybody's got to pay. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't watched the Five since they got rid of my girl. You know what I'm saying? I know her politics is abhorrent, but I enjoyed watching her on a television screen, and that was Andrea Tanteros. I don't even know.
Oh yeah. No clue at all. I saw Kennedy on there too.
She's probably hanging out there with Jeff Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, probably.
John's little brother.
The whole family line.
You said Kennedy, like MTV Kennedy?
Yeah, MTV Kennedy.
Wow.
Because she's one of those what did I call them, asymmetric neutralist, you know, where they have asymmetric neutrality syndrome, where they're asymmetric, but somehow their criticisms always fall on people on the left. But you're non-political, like Stephen A. Smith. I think there's some good Democrat ideas. I think there's some good Republican ideas. But every time he's got a political criticism, it always falls on Kamala Harris or Michelle Obama or
Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine Crockett, or insert black person here, you know. And that's what those fools are, you know. So I mean,
Kennedy, how the mighty have fallen, Kennedy. You was the one that introduced me to Alanis Morissette.
Well,
now
she was
you on the Five. Isn't it ironic?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, she was speaking that Republican nonsense way back in '92.
Kurt Loder would be rolling over in his grave. Is Kurt Loder dead?
No, he's alive.
Shout out to Kurt Loder on these streets.
Yeah.
Tabitha
He's like
Thorne, where you at, girl?
He's in his 80s now.
Swain, all the great journalists.
Yeah. Tabitha, they gave her that interview with Tupac when they were trying to repair Tupac's image.
She was the Barbara Walters of MTV News.
Yeah.
Oh, but okay. So Chris, Ray, and I were talking a lot about these cartoon characters back in the day and how some of them may have been offensive.
Yeah.
But you know,
may have been.
May is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
Yeah.
But there was one cartoon character that was never offensive, Chris. In fact, he always gave us a life lesson, okay, at the end of every single episode. And I'm talking about He-Man, Ray. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe used to be one of my favorite cartoons back in the day, y'all. Told the story of Prince Adam, this young prince from the land of Eternia, who when he grabbed his mythical sword, Chris, and held it aloft and said, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. He turned into He-Man, and he went from this weakling, Prince Adam, to the strongest man in the universe, wearing nothing but some knee-high boots, some little furry drawers, and a bustier of some sort, like a combat bustier.
Right, yeah.
It was a bustier for battle. He-Man was so popular that he had his own live-action movie in the 80s where He-Man was portrayed by the great Dolph Lundgren, and
Yes.
nobody watched that movie. It was a box office flop. So now, all these years later, not only is Scary Movie back in the box office, Chris, back in the theaters, but He-Man is back with a vengeance, and all new Masters of the Universe is in theaters right now, ladies and gentlemen. And Ray, the question everybody wanted to know, can He-Man work in 2026? Is He-Man ready and relevant for today's audiences? Can He-Man and his crew become the masters of the box office? And the answer was no. On a $300 million budget, this is an Amazon movie, y'all. On a $300 million budget, He-Man finished number 2 at the box office this past weekend, right behind Scary Movie, with $30 million in the American box office. $30 million on a $300 million budget, Chris. I don't think I don't think he's gonna be in He-Man 2, because I don't think we're getting a He-Man 2.
Right, yeah.
But it got me thinking, Chris, because again, like I said, man, I love Masters of the Universe back in the day. But my question for you and Ray is, yes, nostalgia can be a powerful force. Sometimes it works at the box office, like we saw with the Barbie movie. Sometimes it doesn't, like we see with Masters of the Universe. But are there properties from the 80s that haven't been adapted, 80s or 90s, that haven't been adapted into a live action film that you would want to see adapted into a film, Chris? And I'll let you go first. Is there any cartoon or program from the 80s or 90s that you think could actually be a good movie in 2026, brother?
Not anymore, because I think they just, every time it's been attempted, they always mess up at it, you know. It's just like, even like I had high hopes for Alvin and the Chipmunks when it was first going to come out, because I used to love the 80s cartoon of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
You ain't like it, Chris? The live action joint?
Oh no, I hated it, man.
What about the Squeakquel, dog? The Squeakquel?
No, that was garbage too, you know. And the thing, so I didn't watch all. I saw like maybe the first couple, and I only saw those because my little nephews were watching it. It's just they just like the Chipmunks in the 80s cartoon, and even in the 60s cartoon before that, when it was the Alvin show. Alvin they weren't these little fucking like shit rats, you know. They were like life size. They were you know, they were like
hold on, Chris. Hold on, Professor. So are you telling me your main complaint with the Chipmunk franchise led by our man Jason Lee from My Name is Earl is that the Chipmunks was too little, like they wasn't big enough?
That wasn't the only issue with it. The movie's not good, you know. It's just, I mean, maybe they probably thought that was the only way they could make the movie realistic or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna honor the original source material, like on the,
I think that's a different
80s
movie though, Chris. Like let's unpack this. Let's stay here, Chris. I like where you're going, Doc. So if we do have like life size, like relative to human height chipmunks, I kind of feel like in that universe, because we don't see any other chipmunks. Like I think the Chipettes come in the Squeakquel, but in the first movie, it's just Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. If we just got these 3 overgrown shit rats, as you've called them, walking around New York City, I kind of feel like we'd have E.T. all over again, where like the government is trying to capture them and test all this stuff.
I don't, but see, on the 80s cartoon, on Alvin and the Chipmunks, Alvin was a ladies' man, you know? Like, he was like, before he started dating Brittany of the Chipettes, he had girls at the school that had a
like
crush
human
on
girls.
him. Yeah, and you could believe it because they made Alvin kind of, they gave him humanistic features, you know. Like on this thing, you can't make Alvin a ladies' man. He's a fucking hamster, you know. It's like it doesn't make a lot of sense. There's no, like, if I were them, I would have just, if I was gonna do this, it would have either been like the way they did the Tom and Jerry movie that came out, that Warner Brothers put out a few years ago, or it would have been like where they just was Tom, or with the way they did Rescue Rangers, you know, something like that. It wouldn't have been this thing, you know. It just wouldn't have been that. He-Man, I like the 80s He-Man, but not because it's a good movie. It's just because it was a movie that was on TV all the time when I was a kid. Yeah. And I just used to, like, you know, Courtney Cox is in it. Dolph Lundgren. I thought that, and it was it kind of was like the Beastmaster movie where he travels back in time and is in 80s Los Angeles or whatever. Because in the He-Man movie, he's taken out of Eternia or Grayskull or whatever, and put into the real world, you know. Like I said, the movie's not, it's camp. It's not really what you would call like if I was gonna tell my wife to watch the movie, and this is the difference between me and my wife, is if I'd say to her, oh, this is a fun campy movie, but I wouldn't try to say it's a good movie, you know. Right. If she was trying to make me watch Denzel Dirty Dancing, she tried to say it's a good movie. It's not a good movie. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between. I'd be honest with the fact that it's not a good movie. You know, I'd be like, look, we could watch this, but it ain't.
Ray is like, I like Dirty Dancing. No,
it ain't good. I mean, it's like I mean, there's certain movies where they go for like the cheap, like heartstring moments, and that's all Dirty Dancing is. It's not. It doesn't really. It's not a layered story. It's like it goes for all of the all the cheap emotional beats. You know.
That song does go hard though. I can't even front, Chris.
Oh yeah. Who sings that again?
It's
question. And they even remixed it for the Sandals commercials.
Jennifer Warnes is the girl on it. I think the guy is the dude from the Righteous Brothers. Was it Bill Medley? Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because Bill Medley had a season because he had that joint from Dirty Dancing and he had the joint from Top Gun too.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of
you lost that love and feeling.
Yeah.
Whoa, that love and feeling. You don't know nothing about that, Ray.
Right. Now would be a good time to give an RIP shout out to Peebo Bryson too. One of the greats.
RIP.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The man Peebo was getting them Disney checks for a little minute.
The Disney checks. He sang the theme song to One Life to Live for a minute, man. I remember watching like One Life to Live with my mom and them, and Peebo Bryson be singing the song for that shit. And just the Disney checks. And,
the boy Peebo, I'm telling you, one of the coldest lines in the history of songs, Ray. Aladdin, the whole new world joint, where they get into it, where they get into it, and then he like that part, Ray. We like, don't you dare close your eyes. Hold your breath. It gets better. They're like, go ahead, Peebo.
Yeah. But yeah, like
no one to tell us no or where to go, Ray.
Yeah. I just right now am not trusting Hollywood with like 80s nostalgia, especially when it comes to like cartoons, you know.
Well, it's two things though, Chris, right? Because like we don't trust Hollywood with 80s nostalgia, despite the fact that like I hear the He-Man movie, like the new Masters of the Universe, it's actually decent, but it's gonna be a flop just because of the amount of money it costs to make it. Well, but I think 80s nostalgia, you can't trust Hollywood with it anymore. But also, are we getting to a point where 80s nostalgia kind of has to go on pause for a minute? until it catches fire again. Because we've seen it with like 60 stuff and 70 stuff. Like there'll be like this real hot moment or time period where people are fascinated with that aesthetic. And then after a while, it's like, but yeah, that's like old stuff, cuz. Like, is the uncleification of the 80s something where people don't really feel the nostalgia for it anymore? Is it more like maybe the mid to late 90s, early 2000s are what the 80s were for so long?
Yeah. I think so. I think with the 80s, it's like because I mean, a lot of the thing with the 80s is where the TV shows for cartoons, the cartoons for the 80s, more so than the 70s, and more so than the Saturday morning TV shows of the 80s and the weekday afternoon cartoons of the 80s and the 90s. The 80s was the decade where those things were commercials for toys they were going to sell, you know? So things just got really more and more ridiculous, you know? And it was all just to appeal to the least common denominator. The whole purpose of the 80s and the 90s was to, 90s not as much as the 80s, but still there too. Because the 90s actually had some mature stuff going on, but the 80s, it was not about fucking storylines and He-Man. It was about introducing. It was like, okay, now He-Man, and then you want to appeal to the women too. Okay, now we got She-Ra, and She-Ra's got Eternia there, and you know you could buy a life size a Castle Grayskull and all this other shit, and then Transformers, they just got ridiculous with it because it's like Transformers, and every year on the Transformers it seemed like they had a cartoon where it's like the Dinobots were coming into existence, and then like 3 months later introducing the Dinobots cartoons, and it'd be like fucking Dinobots. And it was just like, if they did an episode of Transformers on it, there was going to be a toy not that long to follow, you know. And all the successful cartoons of the 80s had toy lines attached to them.
There's a great show on Netflix, the Toys That Made Us,
right?
Where they go into like G.I. Joe and Transformers and Care Bears and stuff like that. And like Chris said, that toy-rific era of the 80s. But it's interesting though, because you brought up Transformers, Doc, and it's like, out of all of the 80s nostalgia plays, they are really the only ones that are kind of still relevant because of those terrible Michael Bay movies.
Right, yeah. And I think even with the terrible, I mean, they are terrible, but they those are kind of the movies that don't have to be good, you know, and it just has to make sense to like on a basic level, you know what I'm saying? It's like, these are robots that come from this planet, and you know, and what's his name? Shia LaBeouf is trying to get with the girl, and you know,
Megan Fox.
Yeah, Megan Fox. You know, shout out to Brian Austin Green. That's her ex. You know, but
it's a very late shout out.
No, yeah. Oh, I don't know if you knew this, but Brian Austin Green and Tisha Campbell were secretly, not Tisha Campbell, Tashina Arnold.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Whoa. Yeah. Now I was like, wait a minute. Now I'm like, wait a damn minute.
Yeah.
Pam?
Yeah, Gary Cole interviewed Brian Austin Green on an episode of his podcast. And Brian Austin Green tells the story that him and Tashina Arnold were dating, and he wanting to go public with it, but she was like, yeah, you ain't fucking up my Martin bag by having me publicly dating this white dude. So
that was during the time where Brian Austin Green also tried to be a rapper.
Right, yeah. was a decent like R&B singer, you know. He was that at least. I don't know if he was like he wasn't like John B level good, but I think he could have. I think he was a musician. I think he just had the unfortunate task of being on 90210 at the same time. You know, what Brian Austin Green could have used was Jimmy Jam or Terry Lewis getting a hold of him before 90210 became a thing. You know,
he could at least been on the level of that one random Jordan Knight solo album. I don't know if you remember
he
that,
could have at
Chris,
least done something
with
like that.
Jordan Knight had the video. He was at the carnival. Baby, you know I can give it
because
to
he's
you.
still
You know I give it to you.
He's still his best friend is that one dude from Tribe. What's the guy's
Q-Tip?
name? Not Q-Tip.
No. You talking about Tribe? Ali Shaheed.
Yeah, Ali Shaheed. I think from Tribe Called Quest. That's his best. They're like best friends.
Brothers Collective.
Yeah. So I mean, he could have probably did something. He could have but you all that shit is about timing and who is working with you.
It'd be like those white guys that were in the East Coast family that never had a record, but they were in all the videos.
Yeah, exactly like that. You know, because
if you go back and listen to go back and watch the videos. I mean, of all like the early Boys to Men videos, or that one All for One video when Michael Bivins had this record label that only one person made money off of. Ironically enough, it was Michael Bivins. Maybe that's not ironic. And like in all the backgrounds, it's these white guys. At first, the group was called Sudden Impact because they're gonna give you a sudden impact, right? And then the group was just called White Guys, Gize, White Guys. And I think there's a great, somebody did an oral history of the All for One video and broke down every group that was highlighted in the All for One video. And they were like, yeah, the White Guys were in 5 videos back then for Biv 10 Entertainment, never produced a single, never produced an album. You never really heard them on anything except that All for One song. And it was just like, they were the white guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to the white guys, unless they're mad.
And shout out to All for One too, man. They had a moment in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
With
Ray said, "Oh, I remember that."
Who not ironically, we're on that. There was a song that was featured on Best Friends or Just Friends,
right? Yeah. This is, and people don't understand why I hate NSYNC and Backstreet Boys so much. But this is the reason why. Because when Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis start manufacturing white boy bands, there was the art to the way they did it that made it work. That kind of gave the boy bands some street cred that felt a little bit more earned than what they would later do with the Backstreet Boys and the NSYNC fucktards. Is because Mark Wahlberg and Donnie Wahlberg come from that real gritty street element, right? So it's like we can make Donnie the bad boy of the group. We can, what's his name? Jordan Knight could. Yeah, Jordan Knight could, play instruments a little bit, and he could dance.
Okay,
so we
hold on, Chris. Hold on, because we strayed away from the topic, but let's stay here for a second because one of my favorite. I've only got like 3 New Kids on the Block songs that I really F with. Because in my mind, in my heart, New Edition is always the gentrified New Edition.
That's that's what Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis admit that. They like, we can do this. Let's do the New Edition formula with white guys.
Yes. And NKOTB, to their credit, like they acknowledge that. Like New Edition set the blueprint for what they did. But this is when NKOTB started to get a little bit older. They were still popular, but not as popular as the Peak, Chris.
Right.
They put out a song called "We Ain't Playing No Games."
The games,
right?
yeah, 94, I believe it
And
was.
and Ray, they're
Yeah.
like games.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they from the street, and it's mainly just Donnie rapping the whole
Mhm.
time. Like, we ain't
Mhm.
playing no games, and I'm like, okay, fellas, but what
Right.
undercuts your message, Donnie? What undercuts your message is y'all done told this whole thing about how y'all tough, y'all hard, y'all ain't playing no games. The final thing we hear, we ain't playing no games. The falsetto of it's not Jordan Knight, it's the other one, the pretty boy. Who the pretty boy in New Kids on the Block?
McIntyre, Joey McIntyre.
Joey McIntyre, yes.
Yeah.
So like, we ain't playing no games. Like, okay, Ray, they done made a statement. Last thing you hear on the song is Joey McIntyre. No, we're not playing no games.
Yeah,
Play
yeah.
those games.
Yeah,
We won't
yeah.
play your game. Like, you done undercut all the toughness with the falsetto, my boy.
Yeah,
Shout out to New Kids on the Block, though.
yeah, and I wasn't a fan of New Kids on the Block, but I at least respected the precision that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did with putting together those guys,
Mhm.
and the dude that did that with NSYNC and the back, because it's the same
Lou
guy
Pearlman.
that did it with both of those
Pearlman,
guys.
yeah.
It's like he really didn't look for anything with that.
And he was a scummy dude. Like, if you hear
He
any
was
stories, like
a scummy
stealing
piece
money,
of shit.
messing with the young ladies, like, yeah,
Right,
just a scummy
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, so
Netflix has a documentary on it, and again, maybe not ironic or maybe not coincidental. Hulk Hogan was wrapped up with him.
yeah. I don't think it's coincidental at all.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's and that's kind of like the thing. I think like that kind of subtlety is just missing from things like that, because it wasn't like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis was just like, okay, let's just pick some random white guys and make them a thing. It's like, let's put together these white guys with specific musical talents from specific backgrounds, and try to get them to appeal to the sensibilities of an urban audience and a white audience. With the NSYNC dude, it's just like, yeah, let's just have these white boys sing these black guy songs and feed it to white girls. And that was it,
Well, speaking of nostalgia, go ahead, Ray. Go ahead. Defend
say-
your favorite groups.
Well,
that's
You
for Pollock to do. We'll chop it up one of these days, Pollock. I'm sure we will.
That's long-term booking, Chris. You versus Joe Poe.
Yeah, yeah.
you kid, but last month I may or may not have bought a whole set of NSYNC bobbleheads that I leave at my school in my in my windowsill. So you joke, brother Nate.
Because I could look. What I can do with NSYNC is I could look back on them with hindsight, and part of me feel a little bit of a sympathy for them, because I don't think they were put in the best situation for long-term success. I just don't think that those guys were set up for that. They were set up to be seasonal and for the fire to burn, and for the fire to burn fast. It wasn't something that was and those guys had all kinds of other issues. So except for Timberlake, he could kiss my ass for. I'm still never gonna forgive him for the Janet Jackson thing.
Never forget.
Yeah, that's there's a certain icons of the 80s that you fuck with, and that's the end of us.
Who amongst us would not want to see one of Janet Jackson's titties? Like we all flesh and blood, but there's a time and a place, Justin Timberlake, and that wasn't the time nor the place.
She got all the blame for it.
All the blame, all the smoke.
How the fuck is that possible? She was on stage. She didn't rip it off. This fool ripped it off.
Right.
And I can only imagine if that was like Britney Spears and Usher. Usher, they would have went ballistic on Usher. They would have been calling him a thug and a hoodlum and all this other kind of shit. But when a white guy does it to a black woman, it's like you find some way to like workshop a way that Janet Jackson is this evil woman,
She influenced him.
Yeah.
Even I'm gonna say it right before we go to you because I want to hear if you got any nostalgia picks that could be made into a film today. But even if you go back and look at that Super Bowl halftime performance, when he ripped the part of her dress off and the titty was exposed, even the titty popped out like, I don't think this is gonna be right, guys. Like I know I got the pasty on, but even the titty looked a little confused and conflicted. Like this ain't gonna end up how y'all, man. Let me get back up in here. Let me just. But shout out to Janet, man. She one of the greats.
She's cool.
But Ray Williams, besides your nostalgia for NSYNC, besides your nostalgia for Janet Jackson's titties, is there any property from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s maybe that you think could actually work in a format today in 2026 for a film?
Well, I was kind of thinking more in the lines of maybe a TV series. And I think we had, I don't know if there have been rumors, but I think there have been fans just like, not clamoring, but kind of mumbling like, where's this show? How haven't they rebooted this show yet? How haven't they done this yet? I would love to see an Alf either movie
interesting
or like a little mini series because I think you could definitely play on it, especially nowadays. Like it's still kind of like the X-Files thing where it's like the truth is out there. Like people are still kind of having these, especially I think recently over the last 5 years where there's been like mysterious balloons or people have been talking about aircraft that I think it was mentioned in like a Senate hearing where they were talking about, over this amount of time, there have been 182 mysterious aircraft that cannot be attributed to any one country, but can only be described as they can't use unidentified flying object. I think they had to use like unidentified flying vehicle or some different acronym. But I think there's still kind of like a segment of people out there that are kind of still on the, we not alone, y'all. We know, there's something out there. There's got to be something out there, something else out there other than human beings. I think you could play on people's fears like that. And then it just be like, what's going on, guys? Just Alf.
That was a spot on Alf, dog. Spot on Alf. What's going on, guys?
It's been a while since I've seen Alf.
I'm Alf, y'all.
You said it's talking about Alf, like
the
with
puppet.
the brown Muppet, alien life
Gordon
form
Gordon Sumners or Shumway.
Shumway from Melmac.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally see Alf.
Yeah, they
series.
Alf has come back a couple times. He came back with a TV Land Talk show.
Yeah, he did.
And he came back also with a made-for-TV movie.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, that was in the 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, it was called Project Alf. I think it came on ABC.
So they already did your idea, Ray.
Yeah, but that was still like 10, 15 years ago now.
You saying that was the time to bring it back?
The reboot. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, my favorite Alf property wasn't even the TV show, which was fine. But it was the damn Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
That cartoon had the soulfulest theme song in history, Chris.
Gordon, yeah. And then it had Alf.
Gordon, teach us, put us in stitches. Ain't no one like you in the Mammalian race. Hey, Gordon. Like, is that Joey McIntyre on that joint?
Yeah. And then they had then the next season of Alf was Alf Tales,
Yes.
where it was like the Alf characters playing like Rapunzel and
Yep. Jack and the
Cinderella and
Beanstalk.
Beanstalk and all that shit. Yeah, yeah, hmm
Yeah, Alf. Not a bad answer, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
If I was gonna do a TV show,
Mm-hmm.
it would be because I really did enjoy Bel Air.
Okay.
That was which was the dramatic retelling
Yeah.
of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, which was also stemmed off of a mini movie that a guy made on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if somebody Will Smith saw it and liked it, and NBC Peacock liked the pilot for it and greenlit 4 seasons of it. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna do a straight up remake, it's got to be a retelling. So I think TV works better than cartoons and movies for some reason.
Okay.
I think 90210 could have worked if like CW just lost the plot of that shit, man. Because if you're gonna remake 90210, you gotta kind of lean if it's gonna be if it's a continuation.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to lean on the original characters, or else it's not gonna work. It's not gonna make
Right.
sense to anybody. Even if the kids now don't watch it, it's like it still has to make sense. It has to have some kind of foundation they pull off of. That's what they did with Degrassi.
Mm-hmm.
They used people that were in the Degrassi junior high shit from the early 90s and stuff in the late 80s, for that show. I think that's how that stuff works the best. Or if you do a remake, just do a remake and don't tell the exact same story,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
it could work. We've Star Trek The Next Generation,
Yep.
Deep Space Nine, all that stuff. So I think if you have a universe, a television universe, and you do a remake, like even what's the one, why am I blanking on these fuckers with Tommy and all the Power Rangers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like they did the like the movie was okay. The movie that they recently did, it was okay, but the problem
Yeah.
is I just think that the timing just wasn't right for that when it came out for whatever reason.
I agree.
And it really just, a lot of it is timing, a lot of it is like what is like how good of a story can you tell with this? How can you
Yeah.
continue this and make it make sense? Like Ryan Coogler looking at Rocky and saying, hey, I've got a way to continue this Rocky franchise by giving Apollo Creed a love child that he never knew about,
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some little things with Creed I would have did differently, but it still works, because you're honoring the old character.
Yeah.
You're honoring the old franchise, but you're continuing a new franchise,
Mhm.
Yeah. I think, like, to your point, Chris, and the Ray's point, I like that you mentioned Bel Air. And shout out, there's a young lady that's got like a living single kind of sequel that she made a project for that looked like it's really well done. And I hope like it actually gets some interest from the people that will be interested in producing that for real. But I think movies kind of need to, unless you've got a can't miss project or a product like Barbie, which is kind of timeless, I would stay away from the movies because you're putting too much of an investment in for very little return. So I would go the TV route. And this is what I would do, because there's a lot of shows, man, from the 80s and 90s that I think could work. Silverhawks, even though Silverhawks ain't make no
Oh yeah, I
damn
used to
sense.
love that. Yeah,
Like how you got a cowboy playing a guitar in space when there ain't no sound vibration
right. Yeah,
in space, but it was the
and
80s,
that
right?
and Silverhawks was one that took advantage of the toy craze as well, man.
Yeah.
It's like
Um,
they'd come out with new Silverhawks and shit.
but I think here's what I do, Ray, because I think you, to Chris's point, you do have to honor the legacy of the original, but also contemporize it for a 2026 audience. I would start my show off, right? Just a 5-episode limited series before we do a full series, Ray. It's a series following the adventures of this young man, right? And let's just say his name is Lionel. And Lionel is a young man that is just, trying to work his everyday 9 to 5, but he keeps having these visions when he goes to sleep of being in a different place, in a different land with these strange creatures and adventures that he goes on, but he just can't quite reconcile it with his day-to-day life, Ray. And it feels like something's calling him all 5 of these episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's lost his parents. He doesn't really have family to speak of. But then, Ray, you can bring me out because this is what's gonna sell us right here, dog. The last episode 5. This whole time he's like, I don't know, man. Like I'm Lionel, but I don't feel like Lionel. And he just keeps walking and is like ends up after a drunken night, Ray. He's at rock bottom, Ray. Okay. And then he just reaches down. And he's like, I don't know why, but he ends up like in a garbage dump or something, right? And he's just sitting in the garbage dump because his life metaphorically, Ray, okay? He feels like his life is worthless and trash, so he's in this garbage dump, okay? And he's just like throwing beer bottles in this garbage dump or liquor bottles, however you want to get. We can get a sponsorship in on this, maybe some Hypnotic. Just throwing liquor bottles around in the junkyard, and like that's a weird sound. And he walks around. And he goes and what made that sound when that liquor bottle hit something, Chris? What is it? He looks down, he sees something glistening in the junkyard, Ray. Reaches down. It's a sword, Ray. And when he picks up this sword, he looks at it and he realizes he's not Lionel. He's Lion-O. And the last words we hear, Chris, of the last episode of this series that I ain't even put no title on yet. Not the series, but the first 5 episodes. Cause it's like the prequel. Then we get the full green light for the series from Jeff Bezos.
Untitled asterisks.
Yes, like untitled asterisks, like the Thunderbolts. That was the new Avengers.
Yeah, exactly.
But he holds this sword up, and all we see is he's looking at the sword, right? But then the sword opens its eye and looks back at him, and then all of a sudden you just hear. Thundercats. Oh, nigga, Thundercats is back, Ray. They back in a series on Amazon Prime. Let's go, Bezos.
Oh,
yeah, that's
starring Willem Dafoe as Mumra. Idris Elba as Panthro. Who we gonna get? We gonna get Tom Holland as Lionel. This series is already way too expensive.
Because the granddad off the Cosby Show voiced Panthro on the
Panthro
80s
was black,
show.
y'all.
Yeah,
Earl Hammond.
Yeah.
But Thundercats. I think Thundercats, like in a world, Chris, where we've already seen series like The Boys, where we've seen all these Marvel series, where we've seen Game of Thrones and all their various spinoffs. I think you could get away with like a live action Thundercats series, which would work better than a movie.
Right, yeah. You could get away with that. I think because you have to. It's just depends on the way you tell the story, and if the person, and that's been the problem with a lot of these shows too, is I just don't think that the people that have written these movies had any respect for the original source material. Like when I was watching Gem and the Holograms, it was just like. I was a big fan of Gem and the Holograms in the 80s. I thought it was like one of the better cartoons in the 80s. And the guy that wrote this movie, I don't know what he was thinking.
Movie was terrible.
It just wasn't what he said that he was hoping to do a sequel where the sequel was going to be more like the cartoon. He said that he was going to have Jim. Her origin started off as in the orphanage, and
This man had a trilogy planned out. Chris.
Yeah, and then the next one was going to be her starting the Starlight House for the orphan girls like she had in the cartoon. And I was like, dude, what you overthought the fuck out of
You
that
lucky
shit.
to get one movie, my boy. One.
Yeah, if you were gonna do that, just tell a story in flashbacks or something. You don't have to, because the first thing people are gonna do, like I did, was like, this is not the original source material, you know? And you can't.
The only good part of that movie, Chris, shout out to Kesha, man. She'd have been through so much. But shout out to Kesha. The only good part of this whole Jim movie, Ray, and it was the best part and the worst part of the Jim movie. Because anybody that's a real Jimologist, Ray, if you really own these Jim and the hologram streets, you know you can't have Jim and the holograms without the Misfits, dog.
Yeah,
because the Misfits, they songs was better. They was the Misfits, and they're gonna get her. That's the whole yin and yang of Jim and the holograms.
Yeah,
and they had Kesha at the end, right? Kesha was like playing Roxy from the Misfits, right? And who was it? It was I forget who the lady was that like was there, and she was like, she need the Misfits help. And it was like the last 2 seconds of the movie, Ray, and they was like, I need the Misfits. And they in there, like, I don't know why these young ladies live in this abandoned steel factory, but they was in an abandoned steel factory, and Kesha's like, we're the Misfits. Our songs are better. Credits. I'm like, no, damn it, movie. You ain't getting no sequel. We ain't never gonna see these Misfits again.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, I think if you're gonna ever do that, a remake of the Jim, because I think the movie you could get away with it as like a limited like Netflix series or something like that, or Hulu series. But yeah, you can't do with something like that. Well, I don't know if Tubi would have they
got Jim money.
Yeah, I don't know if they got that, because you still have to go through the trouble of licensing the
instead of Jim and the holograms, it'll be Jam and the Illusions.
Yeah. So I don't know, but like with the Thundercats thing could work because especially if it's a fish out of water story, like I can see that working better than
like instead of being on this random planet where the Thundercats landed in the original cartoon, like the whole city is like Mumra actually exists in the city. Like, but Chris, because you remember in the cartoon, Mumra was like all shriveled up and weak, but then he get in the chamber and turn all buff. Instead of doing that transition, like again, in my mind, Willem Dafoe is Mumra, but like he's a businessman or a politician by day, and everybody respects him, and he's like, oh, we give him all this money, but by night he go in his chamber and he turned into Mumra, the ever living, and he really is corrupting the city from inside. So instead of Thundercats fighting on this planet, it's almost Blade-ish. Like now that I'm talking about it, like all the Blade fights happen at night when the city was sleeping or whatever. All this Thundercat stuff goes down at night, Chris, in the city. Instead of this weird foreign planet, it's actually happening in America right now. Because if you think about it, who is more like Mumra than Donald Trump? Use your brains, Ray Williams. Season 1 gonna be called Thundercats on the Loose, right? Because he running. He don't know who he is. But then season 2 that we already got greenlit by Jeff Bezos and them, Ray, is gonna be called Thundercats Feel the Roar. Because now they fighting back, Ray. Okay. This one we gonna introduce Chitara, played by Sydney Sweeney, okay? Because we got to get that Sydney Sweeney money in here. And she gonna be Chitara. We gonna get who else was on Thundercats? My man Tigra. We gonna get
Tigra,
we gonna get Ryan Reynolds as Tigra. Okay, this budget is crazy, y'all. And then we gonna get Snarf, because we gotta have a Snarf on this joint. Snarf gonna be played by Kevin Hart as penance for his terrible roast. Snarf is gonna be Kevin Hart in CGI. Just Snarf, man, Snarf. I'm Snarf. You ever go night, Lionel? You ever go night? Snarf. I'm Snarf, y'all. I think I just ruined the show now. Now I don't want to watch this reboot that I just made.
You don't even want to watch your
I ain't even gonna watch this Thundercats.
In the 2000s remake of Thundercats, Snarf didn't really talk, unlike the 80s version.
I ain't gonna front. Snarf in the 80s version. Snarf was hilarious to me because, like, even as a kid, I'm like, Snarf is a punk. Just Lion-O, we shouldn't do this. Snarf. Why would you fight Mumra, Lion-O? Snarf. It's like, Snarf, you got a whole demon on the other side of this planet that y'all living on. You just gonna let the demon live, Snarf? We can't do this, Lion-O. Snarf. Shout out to Thundercats, man.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes of Thundercats was like Thundercats, to its credit, it was a toy commercial, Chris, but they did like one of my favorite things ever at that time. They took a whole week to tell you a continuous story, Ray. It was a 5-part arc. I think it was called like the Trial of Lion-O or something, right? To prove that he was worthy to be the true leader of the Thundercats, right? He had to fight each of the other Thundercats without his powers, like without his sword and everything.
Sword of Omens.
Sword of Omens, yep. He had to fight Chitara. He had to fight Tigra. He had to fight the twins, Wily Cat and Wily Kit. He had to fight Panthro. And then the last test, which was stupid, it was like, I don't even think this should be part of the test. He had to go to Mumra's tomb, the sarcophagus, and fight Mumra without no powers. And I'm like, I don't, because y'all ain't been able to defeat him with your powers. I don't know why you sent this boy in here without no powers to fight the ever-living demon. That don't seem right, Thundercats. But you know what does seem right, Chris? I don't care if you a comedian or a politician or a Thundercat on a different planet. You all need a break, mental break, and this would be a good place if we were sponsored by a company. We could tell you about BetterHelp and the help that they can give you. But we ain't got that type of BetterHelp money yet. So instead, we gonna take our popcorn from this movie theater that we just stayed at, watching a scary movie and He-Man. What a hell of a double feature, Chris. Barbenheimer, what? We don't need you. We got He-Man and Scary Movie, Scary Man. But we just finished our Scary Man double feature. We heading from the theaters with our popcorn. I think, fellas, we should go down to the pond and feed these ducks this popcorn, Ray Williams. Don't feed popcorn to ducks, ladies and gentlemen. Not good for their digestive system. But this is Feeding Ducks on the Pond, the part of the parlay where we go around the horn with a question. It could be serious, it could be silly, it could be sentimental, it could just be random. And we ask it of the panel, and then we all answer the question. Let's start with our very own Thundercat. That's not even a good segue, but hey, we're at this pond. We don't give a damn. Ray Williams, what is your question for the group, man?
All right. 2 weeks in a row, I got my question in mind already. And you didn't have to call for me this time. So this one's going to be a little bit deeper one. And I think I might have asked it before. If I asked it before, feel free to use the same answer, man. So we were talking earlier about, I believe we were just talking earlier about like what you want your legacy to be, right?
Okay.
So, and we've also went over this theme as well, Brother Nate. You put it so eloquently several times. What did you do with your dash, right? So, and to explain it quickly, when you pass away, you have your birth date, you have your death date, and then in between, the hyphen is the dash. What did you do with your dash? And Brother Nate always puts it so eloquently, like, how have you been able to interact with people? How did you live your life? Did you live your life in a noble way, or did you live your life in a selfish way? How have you lived your life? So in that particular vein, that birth date, that dash, and that death date can all be found on your tombstone. So unlike the pizza commercial, the frozen pizza commercial, I'm not asking you about toppings.
Oh yeah, pepperoni and cheese.
But brothers, what would you like on your tombstone? What do you want to be remembered by? And again, I believe I asked this question before. So my apologies if I've asked it before. But what would you want on your tombstone?
Okay, a little variation on the theme, Ray. So, Professor, not that it's gonna happen anytime soon, but when that day does come, because none of us are already ever living.
Right.
But when that day does come, what would you like on your tombstone, sir?
Okay, so I got it, and I'm glad we're on being recorded saying this, because I don't want a tombstone. I don't. I want to be cremated. And that's how I want that to go.
Brother said, bury me at sea with my ancestors.
Right.
Who knew that death was better than bondage. Go ahead, Killmonger.
Yeah, I don't
count as your living will and testament right now. Are we?
This is a legally binding document.
Because I want everything after I'm here, after I'm gone, to be like a mystery. So, but anyway, so I wouldn't want a tombstone necessarily, or anything like that. Like I would want, like, if someone was gonna like do like a maybe a memorial for me, like, or something at the university or something like that, something like just. Say, that kind of thing. Want to just, leave the earth better than what I found it. That's what I care about, is just kind of making sure my contributions are met with positivity. That's why I do a lot of writing and all that. Is so I can have proof that I was here, that's, and just, give like my children, when me and my wife start having children, or my nephews and nieces, all of them, just giving something for them to give back to their kids, and just kind of keep. And it's not just even physical stuff too, not just things, not just like objects and money and all that. You want to make sure that everyone's financially taken care of, but you also want to make sure you are passing down good values to them, So that's the kind of thing I think about often. So I just want people to say that I left the earth better than the way I got here, and that I was thinking about the generations that were going to come along after mine.
That's a good answer, Chris. I like that.
Very good.
For me, I got two answers, Ray. The first one is a jokey joke. The second one is the serious answer. But the jokey joke, Ray, because we always got to pay respect to those that have inspired us. And there was a young man on a commercial that promoted family values a long time ago. He was in a basketball game, Ray.
Oh no.
and he was the reason, his team was supposed to lose, but there was a bad call, and he had to go tell the truth. So my tombstone would say, Nate Milton, birthday - death date. The ball was off me, coach. It was off me, coach.
It was off me, coach.
Like, no, Tony, why would you say that? It was off me. Like, Tony, the most honorable / dumbest basketball player in the history of basketball. Like, we salute your bravery and your honesty and laugh at your stupidness, Tony. Just take the points, man. Take the points. We go in the state, brother. But in all seriousness, what I would have on my tombstone is what I have on my social media bios right now, Ray, which would basically be like, I'd have a Bible verse or something on there as well. But in terms of like the verbiage, it would be Christian, broadcaster, top rank uncle, raconteur, and king. and then some Bible verse, which I don't know which Bible verse it would be, because I ain't thought that much about my death, right? Because I ain't going no time soon, even though I could theoretically die as soon as these microphones is off. That's something that could happen. I hope it don't, but it could. But like, I think that encapsulates me, Ray, like what my passions were, like, as a Christian, like and this is not to big up myself, but more to point out the inconsistencies in others, because we got a lot of people around here that say they're Christians and use the Bible and use God's name, but they don't really live they don't walk the talk, right? And so, like, I am somebody who's never been one to shy away from my religion or my spirituality, whatever you want to call it, my faith. And so, like, that's a part of who I am and who I've hoped to be, whether it's on the air or off the air. Being a top-ranked uncle. Like I said, I might never have no kids, right? You don't know. I could be like Larry King out here. Larry King was still popping out babies when he was like 76 or something, dog. He still had
Robert De Niro. He just had a kid like a few years ago. I think like a 3-year-old.
Yeah, and the baby just like Google Gaga, and he's like, you talking to me? you must be talking to me because you're the only one here.
The way he announced the kid was funny too, because he was doing an interview, and she was like, "And you're the father of 5 kids," and then Robert De Niro said 6, and she's like 6, and he's like, "Yes, it's 6." He's like, "Did you just have another kid?" He's like, "Yeah, we just had another one." He just had another kid. Like, wow, man.
Which is crazy. Like, Robert De Niro, stop having kids, dog. Y'all both gonna be in diapers at some point. Yeah, so if I never have kids, like, my nieces would be the closest equivalent, and just the relationship that we've had and seeing them grow. Like, one of them's already in college, the next one is getting ready to go into college. The little one thinks she's gonna be a professional video gamer, and I told her if she do, slide on a couple bands, cuz help front this nefarious media thing, cuz. But yeah, like, and then so we got my faith, my nieces, and then so that's who I am. And then what I do, or what I've tried to do my whole life is as Chris said, try to make the world a better place through what I can do. I ain't no singer, I ain't no actor, I ain't no athlete, a celebrity, or nothing like that. I'm a broadcaster. And so if I can get on these microphones and have fun with folks and get folks to think in a different way, even you, Batman __3345. I don't know what the hell your numbers is. But if I can have the audience have a good time, but also, like we say on the tagline, Ray, be thoughtful, truthful, and turned. Like, that's what I want to do every time these mics come on. So that's what I would put on my tombstone. What do you want on your tombstone, Ray? Because you asked the damn question, brother.
Indeed, I did. So I think, to Chris's point, I do also want to be cremated. So this is my living will and testament. But yeah, if I were to have like a tombstone or like a obituary, just right now, and as you mentioned, Brother Nate, this could change. But right now, loving son, understanding brother, follower of Christ, and servant to many. Because I think I kind of live my life with the adage of, like, you can do anything you want to as far as careers, but me, whatever I do it to serve. I do it, whether it be a shoot job, in your words, with me teaching, whether it be with what I do here with Nefarious Media Network, whatever I do, I'm just doing it to serve, to help people the best way I know how. And I think, like you mentioned, a lot of people claim to be Christians, but they're not living Christ's life. Like, they're not living as Christ would live. They're not living with the love of Christ. They're not living with the mercy of Christ. So I think trying to show that without even me saying anything about the Bible, like I think it goes a long way. And then just to serve others, and through my service, people get pulled closer. And I know there's some people who don't believe particularly in Christ and in Christianity, but even if they could just see that there's something in me that's different than what they normally see with other people, I think that could go a really long way. And so just trying to help people, serve people as best I can, and like Brother Chris said, make this world better than what I found it. And there's a quote that I always kind of go back to. It's from Charles Mask Lewis, who passed away. He used to be one of the founders of the Tap Out brand. And he said, I think he said to the words of, I may not be the one to touch a million, but if I'm the one to touch the one that touches a million, that's what it's about. So you never know you never know who you can influence just by what you do, even just by saying hi. And I take that seriously, especially like if I'm in school and I work. I try to say hi to people. I try to acknowledge people, even if they don't know who I am, because you never know what people are going through, and you never know that one person that you can encourage that could encourage others as well. So.
Okay, good answer, Ray. And since we've established that this podcast is a legally binding document, Ray, I hope you don't take offense. If you are the first one to leave out of the three of us, I think what we're going to do, Chris, is we're going to gather the whole nefarious team. You, me, Jay, Brittany, Jenny, Maria, Steve Willie, the whole crew, Gerard, and we will gather around wherever the Ray Williams Memorial is, since he's going to be cremated. But wherever the monument is to Ray Williams, we're going to gather and recreate that scene from Martin, where they was recreating the scene from Cooley High. And instead of pouring 40s out, we all going to pour out fresh jars of milk and just, I thought we get to see forever, but forever's gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to two-way Ray.
Yeah, but I'd actually tip the 40 to your memory. You'd be taking a shot now. It's like
right. Like, who's not a drinker now, Ray?
Yeah, I'm about to say it'd be my first and last drink.
Oh, see, we could be real spiteful and petty, Chris. Just not only will we pour out the 40s, then we pour out the milk, then we just drop meat, just random ejectocito, cuz just drop random cut of beef and steak and pork, and sprinkle bacon bits over his monument.
Right.
Whole backsliding vegan Ray.
You go spray paint on the back of my memorial, backsliding vegan.
Like, why is there all of this rotten meat on Ray's memorial? What happened? Is that a ribeye? Oh, good question, Ray. Chris, what is your question for the group this week, brother?
All right. Well, first, if I did have a tombstone, it would say Christopher Ely killed over a matter of $80. You know. Yeah. But shout out to Marty McFly.
Yes.
Doc. But anyway, so
actually, hold on, Ray. Hold on, Chris. And then, so if I am the first one to go out of the three of us, I want one of y'all or Jay or Gerard or somebody. I want somebody to like paint up like around my tombstone, just pals, like some Billy the Kid type shit. Just pals. Like what's this mystery? And then everybody think Nate's dead, but then somewhere up in the hills somewhere, just wake up in the morning and I raise my weary head. just riding. I don't know where I got this horse from. I'm probably like 70 years old at this point, Ray, 80 years old, however it is. When I go, who gave me this horse? Where am I riding off to? But that's how I want to go out, Ray. Proceed, Chris, before we go out in the blaze of glory.
Oh yeah. So if it was, let me say, if I guess I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but if who, and it could be anybody, not dead though. I don't like the living or dead shit. It's got to be living. Who do you want to interview? Like who? If you got to interview this person, you will feel you made it as a journalist or a content creator or this or that, something like that.
That is a great question, Chris.
That is a great question.
Ray, and again, this is a hypothetical, but being doing what we do, this could someday become a reality. So, who would be your answer?
Ooh.
Besides Dana White, your man's in them.
I mean, I would kind of think I made it, but then I got to make him mad to really feel like I made it. Like,
want him to yell at you like he yelled at Pollock?
Exactly. That's a great question. Especially dealing with all the different disciplines and kind of arenas that we deal into. Because it's like I can think of one for wrestling, I can think of one for football, basketball, just media in general. Like politics or news or pop culture. If I had to sum it all down, dang, that's a good question. You know what? I'm gonna go with the first thing that came to my mind. LeBron James.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I think if I ever had the opportunity, and then I was about to say, in second place, Michael Jordan. No.
Hey, look, Ray, here's the crazy thing, because if we ever did interview LeBron, he would flip it around on us. Like, I remember 10 years ago when I was like, Nefarious Media Network is going to be a thing, and one day they're going to call and ask for me. I was reading a book at the time, but I remember thinking that thought. Because, LeBron has always thought of everything that's ever happened.
Always reading books.
Shout out to LeBron.
Yeah, shout out to LeBron. But I think, either Jordan or LeBron, I would know. I was like, oh snap! I'm in Ahmad Rashad territory.
I like that.
I'm gonna stick with them. I won't go too far.
Okay.
I'll stick with them.
Yeah, LeBron. Like, here's the crazy thing, Chris. Like, as great as we all loved The Last Dance during the pandemic, I think whenever LeBron does his movie or his documentary series, it's gonna be fascinating because that dude has lived has been famous since he was 16 years old.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a crazy story to be told. LeBron is a great answer. Obviously, in the world of sports, Ray, Diana Taurasi, that's my GOAT forever.
Oh, of course.
Like, that'd be a great interview.
White Mamba.
White Mamba, yes. In the wrestling realm, as controversial as he may be these days, I would love to talk to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But I think with a question like this, you're right, Ray. With a question like this, you do have to kind of go with your first gut instinct. Like, who's the first person that popped into your mind when Chris asked the question? And for me, it was Barack and Michelle.
Oh,
like interviewing the Obamas to me, like there's levels to it. Because here's the thing, like I don't have to interview the Obamas to be like I made it. I could interview let's see, I could interview who's somebody that's not the Obamas that I'd be like, okay, I done made it a little bit.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Hakeem. Well, I was thinking like somebody like on the level of like shoot, you let me interview Anthony Mackie, Captain America, and I might finish that interview, Ray, and be like, you know what, I done made it out here.
That's the same. I feel the same.
But the Obamas is on a different level because talking to not only
a president,
like any president would be a great interview, Chris. even 45, 47, whatever we could glean from that interview would be like an accomplishment and a feather in the cap for Nefarious. But like the Obamas and what they meant to this country and what they meant to the culture. Like I think, and look, we know Michelle be on these podcasts in the streets, so it's not that crazy, Chris. It could maybe happen one day.
I would grill Barack a little bit. I wouldn't let it be a softball, but I'd be like, it's all in love, brother Barack. It's all.
Well, how would you do? Like it wouldn't. Like I think if. I don't know if an antagonizing interview with Barack Obama would even be good, but like if you were gonna like interview him and not be a softball question,
you gonna get it's all fun and games to that drone land over your house, right?
Yeah. What questions would you like? What questions would you ask? You know.
Well, I know like he recently was asked about not calling what's happening between Israel and Palestine a genocide. And so I'd just be like, why is it so hard to not call it what most people think it is and what people agree with?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Most people don't think that, though. That's the thing, too. There's a lot of people who don't call it a genocide. It is a genocide, but there are people of that Obama ilk that would say the same thing he said. So
that's why you gonna get the last question, Ray, because you ain't gonna mess up this Obama interview for us, dog.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna mess this up for us, dog.
Yeah. Like it's crazy because I can't even find like black Democrats that fully agree on the those issues, those Palestinian issues, you know, because there's some people that are like in the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, that are like support Israel, support Israel, support Israel. And then there's the others that are like, yeah, Netanyahu's got to go. So it's really one of those issues that's like, yeah. So I don't know. Y'all know how Obama would respond to that, man.
And here's the thing, Ray. I'm not going to silence you, brother. I'm not going to silence you ever, my brother. But I will redirect because you asked that question. I'll be like, that's a great question, President Obama. But first, before we get to that, what's your playlist like these days, brother? What you been listening to, Barry? you heard that new Silk Sonic joint, man? Bruno and Anderson be killing it, dog. I'm going to redirect it away from your question, Ray. We might not never hear the answer to that because you ain't messing up this Obama interview if we get it. Michelle, tell us again how these kids should be eating healthy out here. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah.
You and George W. Now that's the question that may be controversial that I would ask.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Michelle, how close are you and George W. Bush? Because y'all be real cool in them pictures.
Right. Yeah. I think you get a better answer out of Michelle Obama too for that question as well. The genocide
question.
Yeah, I think you get. Obama's he's just gonna do the political thing, man.
Don't mess this up for us, Ray.
I'll keep that question to myself.
But you know what? That is a very good question, Ray. But another great question is, I hear the new Obama Presidential Museum is opened up. Is that open to the public?
I'm
just gonna pivot off of your question, Ray.
And we're realistically gonna have a chance to go to do press at the Obama Presidential Center. If Obama's ever there doing a press conference. So
we do have a couple of nefarious team members out in the Chicagoland area. Shout out to OG Rach and Steve Willie.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, man.
But don't mess this up for us, is what Chris is saying, Ray.
No.
Trying to ask your hard-hitting questions.
If that's the question you want to ask, then go ahead. I'm just saying.
I'll save it for my one-on-one. When we together, I'll go along to get along. But once I get him one-on-one, it's all.
Now, Chris, we just gotta lie to him like them people lied to Jordan Hudson when she thought she was in the commercial. Like, let's just turn the camera on and make Ray think he talking to Obama right now in his live. But we ain't recording none of this, Chris. This ain't getting put out to nobody. Don't you mess this up.
I'll go along to get along.
Yeah, gonna come home a drone waiting on you. Don't do it, Ray.
You better stop.
You think Barry ain't got them things on deck still? Shoot, play if you want. We love you, Mr. President. Chris, you asked the damn question, and it's a real good question. I like this question a lot. What is your answer, sir?
Okay, so yeah, for me, so if it was like wrestling, it would definitely be Brandy Rhodes. I think there's a lot of good questions to ask Brandy Rhodes that she hasn't been asked. And I would just want to know, like, what it was like for her to be in the position she was in when she was in AEW, because she's really the only Black woman I can think of that's ever been in that kind of position, you know? That she'd be probably the first person from wrestling I'd like to ask. If I could interview an actor, anyone from pop culture, it'd probably be Hal Williams. He played Mary's husband on 227.
Okay. Lester.
Lester, yeah. The reason why I'd want to interview him is because I don't know if this question's ever been asked of him, but he experienced racism from what's my dude's name, from Jimmy Stewart from It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, wow. Mary, it's not that I have a thing against Black people. I just don't want to live next to him, Mary. Come on.
So it's well
Jimmy Stewart, y'all.
Yeah, it's well documented that Jimmy Stewart was going to do a TV show, and Hal Williams was scheduled to be a character on that show. And Jimmy Stewart was against it because he didn't think a Black guy should be outsmarting a white guy or something like that, as the story went. So I would want to ask Hal Williams the details on that. That would be the reason why I'd want to interview him. And then from politics, I could say Obama. I honestly don't care about what he thinks about, Palestine and all that. That's between him and his God. I care about that, but there's other pressing stuff I care about. I care about the Sudan. I care about what's going on there.
Yeah.
Why, more politicians don't talk about that. If I were going to interview anybody from politics, though, there's a few people that Ashley St. Clair girl. I'm under most circumstances I wouldn't want to talk to a former MAGA, just because I just don't think there'd be anything I'd want to say to them outside of why were you so stupid. But with her, she got groomed by Elon Musk. Like, she was 23 going on 24, she became one of his baby mamas and real big MAGA influencer. And then she just kind of had I guess an awakening or whatever. And when she talks now, she talks like a normal person. And I do have grace for people like that, because 23 years old getting hit on by a billionaire, even if it's an ugly, repugnant, degenerate piece of shit like Elon Musk, Billy, I could see how that would be tempting for someone that young. So I would definitely want to ask her just about like all that stuff, man. Like, what was that? And she's answering those questions right now, but I think I'd have a little bit more nuanced questions that would cause her to like have to think a little bit more hard for that. And then if I was another political person, trying to think,
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. She would be someone like she would be someone I talk to.
Yeah.
That would be a more antagonizing interview, but it would also be an interview where I'd ask her some like serious questions too, because she wants a lot of grace shown toward her, and she did a lot of evil to a lot of people. Like I think a lot of people don't really understand the depth of her evil when she was MAGA. It wasn't just, you know, harassing people on the congressional floor. It was threatening people, messing with that David Hawk kid when he was 17 years old, harassing him. It was doxing people. It was showing naked pictures of Hunter Biden on the congressional floor.
Being anti-Semitic.
Being anti-Semitic, revealing people's like secrets and just she was very, very, very evil. And if I was going to interview her, it would be from the point of view like, okay, you do realize you were a very, very, very evil woman. And if she was honest about that, we could kind of move forward with the interview, you know. And she wouldn't even have to be like, yeah, I was evil. She'd have to acknowledge that, even if she wasn't going to acknowledge that she was evil, even if she was like, yeah, I did some things that were not right, I can move with that. And maybe, because I would not be asking her it would be hard questions. It would not be easy questions at all. It would be,
that's where you ask the hard questions, right?
Right, yeah. It wouldn't be in a way where I'm trying to like purposely be a dick. It'd be like, why did you do this evil? It'd be like soul searching questions I'd ask this woman. Yeah. And then
go ahead.
And then it would be, for me, it would be maybe Keisha Lance Bottoms running for governor of Georgia. I definitely want to talk to her. She'd be someone at the top of my list as well.
Nice. Yeah, that was a good question, Chris. I like that one a lot. My question, you know, we done had some real deep questions these last two questions. I think we should go out with something a little more fun, a little more lighthearted, Ray. Now, keep in mind, I'm setting the parameters of these questions. Both of these two people that we're going to talk about are all-time greats. All-time greats. Top 5, or at least should be top 10 in anybody's list of greatest musical artists ever, okay? So we've established that these are two all-time greats, Ray. No Macklemore's on this list. So the question is, if you can only have the music of one of these artists for the rest of your life, who will it be? Prince or Michael?
Oh, here we go.
That's it. You can either have Prince music for the rest of your life from this day forward, or Michael Jackson music for the rest of your life from this day forward. Who you got? And let's start with the professor. Prince or MJ? Who you got, Doc?
Oh, for me, it's Prince. It's not even that.
Not even close.
Yeah, not that close. I like Michael Jackson, but I think like Michael Jackson, I associate his music with a lot more nostalgic feelings, like of like moments I was in, like being in Disneyland watching Captain EO,
Captain
stuff
EO,
like that, or just watching my homie Brandon Adams in the Moonwalker video, and shit like that, you know. But as from a music standpoint, it would definitely be Prince. You know, it's just and I get those nostalgic feelings with him as well, but it's also just kind of like the subject matter of those songs were just kind of like really like through my head for, like the beautiful ones and shit like that, and diamonds and pearls, and he's just got so many that I love. So for me, it's Prince.
Okay. Full disclosure, Prince did try to get Chris to convert to become a Jehovah's Witness back then. That may or may not color his answer on this.
Yeah. That would have colored that would have made me pick Michael if I was going based off of that. Because I was hoping, Prince is here. We take some pictures and, he be nice and sign autographs and shit. That nigga was not doing that. So
I'm here to save your soul, Chris.
It's in spite of that, I still like Prince.
You need to purify yourselves in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, Chris.
Yeah.
Hey,
if he did that, I would have taken a trip to
Minnesota
and have done that.
Driving from LA to Minnesota on the back of Prince's motorcycle, just
right,
the whole way.
Yeah, but he couldn't have been playing games with me like he did Apollonia, where he was like, this is not Lake Minnetonka. That would piss me off.
No, that's hilarious. Like, what's so funny? That's not Lake Minnetonka. Ray Williams, Prince or MJ? Who you got, man?
I'm on a completely opposite spectrum. It's MJ for me, and it's not close.
Okay. Not close?
Not close. Only reason why it's not close is when Prince was like popular, I was 10. That's grown and sexy music. Nigga, I'm 10. I am a child. Give me Jam. That came on. That premiered on a Saturday morning with my cartoons. Nigga. Yes. So I think I was more prone, since he is the quote unquote king of pop, and that was just the thing that was going around. He was so popular, world renowned, and I just wasn't familiar. I wasn't familiar with Prince's game back then. So, and even though I am now, I've heard like pretty much Michael Jackson has been like the soundtrack of my life at one point or another.
Okay.
So,
how old were you in '93?
8 years old.
Oh yeah. Okay, I can excuse it. Yeah. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got the professor's blessing.
So yeah, with that, then yeah, I'm gonna go with him.
Wow. So one for Prince, one for Mike Jack.
But I think I know where this is gonna go, though.
I'm already requesting that we make this a clip, Ray. The great debate. I don't know how many great debates we've had, but part 2 or part 3 or whatever, Prince versus Michael. This is a tough one, man. I asked the damn question, so I'm gonna answer it, Ray. It's tough because not only with the construct of the question, the way I framed it, you're giving up their music forever. But when you look at Michael Jackson, you're not just giving up Michael Jackson. You're giving up all the Jackson 5, including all their great Christmas songs that the Jackson 5 did. You're giving up the Wiz. You know what I mean? All them great songs from the Wiz. You can't win. You can't get even. You can't get out of the game. You're getting rid of that. You're getting rid of Scream with him and Janet, one of my favorite songs of all time, Ray. When they was in the one time Michael Jackson cussed on the song, he's like, "Stop fucking with me." Great song, great video. You getting rid of all of that stuff, man. But then when you look at the other side of the coin, Ray, if we get rid of all the Prince stuff, we getting rid of all the Batman soundtracks back in the day, dog.
The Bangles.
We getting rid of the Bangles. We getting rid of Morris Day and the Time, Ray.
Some Shaka Khan stuff you're getting rid of too.
All them songs Prince wrote. We getting rid of all of that music. We getting rid of Purple Rain, the movie. We getting rid of Under the Cherry Moon, which has one of my favorite jokes in the history of movies, where they talking to the lady and they're like, "How do you pronounce this?" Rick Stew. Rick Stew. What is Rick Stew? Well, if me and Jerome went to the music store to buy a Sam Cooke album, where would we go? The record store. You get rid of all of that, man. So I'm told you even get rid of that terrible minute. Well, it wasn't terrible because it was Prince. Prince can't write a terrible song, but in the canon of Prince songs, it was like at the very bottom. That Minnesota Vikings theme he wrote that one year that they played.
Oh yeah.
Like that was not your best work. Your purple badness. But here's the thing, man. Like Chris said, it's Prince and it's not even close. Ray said it's Mike and it's not even close. I'm gonna say this is like super close for me. This is like arguing LeBron and Jordan for me, where like both of them have a claim to being the GOAT. Both of them have a claim to being in that top spot. Like what Michael did, Ray. Michael, like you said, he was the king of pop. One of probably the first black artist to pop on MTV and open the door for all these other black artists that would follow. Prince, one of the most creative artists in the history of music, also took a fight to Warner Brothers, his record label, in a way that we hadn't seen before when he changed his name to the unpronounceable symbol, Taff Cappy. Taff Cap, the artist formerly known as Prince. Taff Cappy was the artist formerly known as Prince Ikea from WCW. Know your history, Ray. But long story short, man, this one, either way, this is going to hurt me, Ray, because I love Prince music. Like, I wasn't like when Purple Rain, the album came out, and all them nasty songs, Darling Nikki, one of the nastiest songs ever.
Yeah.
I was too young to know that was what he was talking about. But that was
Yeah,
a good
same
song.
here.
That was a good ass song, Ray. Talking about, you dirty little Prince wanna grind. Yeah. Like, I don't know what he talking about. He grinding up cheddar cheese, grinding up powder, paprika, something about it. He grinding all day. Computer Blue is a weird ass song, but I love that song. Purple Rain, the soundtrack. Maybe I'm just like my mother. Come on now. Prince got all them hits, man. Mike, one of my favorite songs to this day, Ray, to this day, when I'm at the job. And I feel like, I know that corporate don't care about us, because if they did, they would have a properly staffed office and not have people working 50, 60 hours a week, working 10, 11-hour days without lunch breaks. Like, one of my favorite songs is Michael Jackson. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Yeah. And you got the regular version, but then you got the version when Michael was really pissed and he flew all the way to Brazil and had them boys out there with the drums. Diggity-doo, diggity-doo, diggity-doo. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. He did get in trouble because he like used some Jewish slurs, but I was like, don't do that, Michael. But also I feel your anger in that moment. But I'm gonna have to say it, Ray. I'm gonna give the very, very, very slight edge to Prince.
Yeah, I knew.
Like, and I love Michael, man. Them Jackson 5 songs is great, Chris. I saw Mommy Kisses Santa Claus. Like all them Christmas joints is Hot Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah.
You ain't never heard Frosty the Snowman until you heard the Jackson 5 Frosty the Snowman. That was a great song.
Right. Like, I love the Jacksons album that they would Blame It on the Boogie and all that shit on there too. And Can You Feel It, man? Those were
feel it.
Yeah.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I'm sorry. Yeah. I love my brothers, but this is my last tour. Fuck you, Joseph.
Yeah. And did you guys ever hear the story on behind Blame It on the Boogie? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a English white band that came out with that song originally called Blame It on the Boogie. The lead singer of that band's name was Mick Jackson, short for Michael Jackson. So Joe Jackson heard that song. He gave it to his sons to sing that song. On the album, it says songs written, performed, and produced by Michael Jackson. But it wasn't the Black Michael Jackson. It wasn't Joe's son, Michael Jackson. It was Mick Jackson from England. Yeah.
The original, there's a YouTube channel called Digging in the Crates. He's got some really great videos if you're into music and music theory and the history of songs. And he did an episode on Blame It on the Boogie, Chris. And it's like he played the original versus the Michael Jackson and the Jackson's version. And it's like the original's a great song.
It really is, but
Mike put them Jackson boys put their own little razzle dazzle on it.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it's Prince for me, Ray. And it's close, but I think the older I get, the more Prince's music kind of resonates because Prince.
Yeah, I think that's what happens with me too. Yeah,
Prince is just like both of them are just creative and amazing. Yeah. But I think Prince just did weird, like Michael did weird stuff too. For heaven's sake, the man had a whole damn orangutan as his best friend. Shout out to Bubbles, R.I.P. brother. But Prince would just do things musically, I think, take more chances than Michael did, and so I think a lot of that Prince music hits me more today than it did when I was younger. And the Mike music is still good, but I think Prince just hits a little bit more. But both of them is great, man.
Right.
I agree.
Both of them is great.
Yeah,
Are you okay, Ray?
I'm good.
Now that we said Prince is better.
Yeah,
Raymond, are you okay? Raymond, are you okay? Are you okay, Raymond? Raymond, are you okay? Raymond, are you okay?
I think Prince is for like, I think it is a rite of passage thing too, to kind of like when you start liking Prince better than Michael Jackson for a lot of people, you know, it's because Michael Jackson, he's a lot more kid friendly than Prince is, you know.
To Ray's point, we probably shouldn't have been listening to them Prince songs, Chris.
Right, yeah. Outside of the Batman soundtrack.
Even the Batman soundtrack, because there's a whole line. Hey, Ducky, how about I put this 7-inch in your computer? What that got to do with Batman, cuz?
The Prince is the Batman soundtrack is you could disguise it a little bit more to make it kid friendly.
He was like making the Batman sexy.
Yeah, like bat dance is a bat dance, you know. So
Biggie
you
Bam.
could
Biggie Bam.
But
she bad.
Yeah,
I want to rock that body. It was like he was in the studio and he forgot he was making a Batman song and just turned it into a damn Prince song.
Well, like, you know what? I have to say this. I think Prince with that Batman soundtrack, I think he understood Batman more than most people did. You know? He understood the millionaire playboy side of Bruce Wayne. He understood
it resonated with him.
Yeah, he understood the tortured soul. He understood every layer of Batman. I think he did. If you go back and listen to that album, I might even do an article on that because he really did, man.
Hey, Ducky, you mind if I put this 7-inch in your computer?
Right.
Like, hold on, Playboy.
Yeah.
Oh, Party Man is a great song though, Ray. You can't.
Yeah, Party Man. Oh, that shit is awesome.
Party Man.
And that's the scene in the movie where they play that song is great.
Yes, when Joker's just tearing up the museum.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, man. They both great though, Ray. They both great.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's Batman 1989. I was 4 years old. I ain't had no clue.
Yeah, my brother was 4 years old too, but I don't know if you had an older brother to make you watch that kind of stuff. Yeah, my brother wouldn't have gotten away with not seeing the Batman movie 500 times.
So what you're saying, Ray, is you never danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like my uncles making me watch The Warriors, you know, like making me watch all those 70s movies and shit.
But in Michael's defense, though, Moonwalker was tough too. Moonwalker was tough. We wore that VHS tape out.
Yeah, my grandmother was playing Moonwalker.
Speed Demon.
Yeah, and that Sega Genesis game with
Speed Demon. Pull up a board and get your ticket right.
Yeah, that was a fun.
We Are the World, man. Come on, yeah, Mike was good too, man. You can like both of them.
Leave me alone.
Oh man, that Leave Me Alone video with the when he was like the amusement park. It's like Michael Jackson dancing with the Elephant Man's bones. This is a time that you're right and a time that you're right. Who's laughing, baby?
Yeah.
Won't you
There's
just
a chance
leave me
that
alone,
Yeah.
girl? That's a good ass, man. Both of them made some good ass music. We can't
Yeah.
even front on
Yeah,
that.
they did.
Neither
And I
one of
really
them is
did-
in the Macklemore category.
Right. Yeah. And I did love the
Yeah, like your
Moonwalker video
people-
game too. That was
So yeah, the
fun.
Moonwalker video game was tight.
Yeah.
Yo,
Uh-huh.
I will say it, like the kids, like they're not even kids anymore. They're probably like my oldest niece's age, like junior or freshman or sophomore in college now. But like Michael had a whole renaissance when they brought that Wii video game out.
Right,
And,
yeah.
like the Michael Jackson dance game, like
Yes,
that
yeah,
gave
yeah.
Michael's music to a
Yeah.
whole new generation of kids.
Right, yeah. I mean, in Michael
Unfortunately, you can't
Jackson,
do that with Prince because it's like
yeah,
it's a whole different motion with that Wii controller.
right, yeah, and
and
not getting into any of the Michael Jackson controversy or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jackson really did know how to appeal to the sensibilities of like the things that kids liked, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like even like doing the soundtrack to Free Willy, you know, like
Hold me
yeah,
like
that
a river
you know,
Jordan,
yeah,
and I will then say to you,
yeah,
will you be there?
Yeah.
Come on, man. And here's the thing, Chris. You know, you talk about the controversies.
on second thought.
You talk about the controversies, and like, yes, that's a part of Michael's legacy. Like me personally, I don't believe he never had sex with them kids. I believe he was in the bed with them kids. You shouldn't be in the bed.
Yeah, I think
with
he was a
kids.
weirdo. That's
You
what
was
that's
a
what I
weirdo,
can
Mike.
say too.
But I don't think Mike was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sexual with them kids. I don't think he was like that. But he was weird.
Yeah, I think he was is a weirdo.
And he's a weirdo in part, Chris, though, because we like, even if you ain't seen the new Michael Jackson movie, you know Joe Jackson beat the weird into that brother.
Right, yeah.
Like he
Yeah,
got it
yeah.
worse than all the brothers.
Mhm.
And so like a lot of that Michael Jackson, the Peter Pan-ness of it all is Michael trying to, he said he had a song about it, Ray. Have you seen my child?
Right, yeah, and he was a Jehovah's Witness. Also, no offense to the Jehovah's Witness religion, but just that religion
Can
is
you
a
imagine
very
the fumble, Chris? I'm not
Right, yeah.
making fun of the religion at all, but
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witnesses, y'all had one job. You had Mike and Prince on the roster, and you didn't
Right.
have no banging Jehovah's Witness theme song.
Well, yeah, that was that religion is very restrictive, you know. That's kind of like one of the things with Michael Jackson. Prince didn't grow up with Prince. Later converted to Jehovah's, the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. By I think it was I don't know who. I think was it the guy from Peaches and Herb that converted him, or
Dang, they got all the singers.
one of those dudes converted him to Jehovah's Witness, to being a Jehovah's Witness.
Do you want to serve Lord Jehovah? You got to serve
Yeah.
Lord Jehovah. Do you want to serve Lord
But I mean,
Jehovah? You got to serve Lord Jehovah.
But I do think that the
Come on, that would have been a hot record.
Yeah, I do think the restrictiveness of that religion
Right.
probably played a role, and because it wasn't like Mike was a Jehovah's Witness just living a regular life like us. He was a Jehovah's Witness living on the road.
He was
and the
famous from the
Jehovah's-
time he was
Yeah.
like 5, 6, 7.
Right, yeah, and like the Jehovah's Witnesses don't play about the stuff they believe. Like if you like, if as long as you are a visitor of the Kingdom Hall and don't join the Kingdom Hall, you can do what you want to do. The minute you join the Jehovah's Witnesses, if you don't do everything in accordance to the Kingdom Hall, you can get disfellowshipped. And all your friends and family not talk to you and this and that. And I think Michael Jackson had to live with that kind of stuff. And he was never going to get, I don't give a fuck what the Jacksons did. They were never getting disfellowshipped by anybody.
No.
You know?
But you
That
had
just
all the
wasn't-
Jehovah's Witness stuff. You had
Right.
all of the beatings that he suffered at the hands of Joe Jackson. And
Yeah.
people forget, man, like, because it was back in the 80s, Ray, like, Mike had trauma from that Pepsi commercial where his
Right.
hair,
hair
caught
caught
on fire,
Yeah.
and this man's face was caught on fire, and he had to live with that. So yeah, like Mike did, like, as famous and as beloved as he was, Mike had a hard, like, personal life. And so I get why he was a little weird.
And then I think we mentioned it before, stuff with Diana Ross. It's like,
Dirty Diana. No. I was telling her in the song. Dirty Diana. No. Diana. And that's a great song. But like you said, Ray, like you're alluding to, this is a grown-ass woman. Allegedly propositioning this young boy. Or a young man, at least, at the time.
Yeah.
Somebody he looked up to.
Yeah. See, I wasn't getting propositioned by anybody like that when I was 18 years old, man.
Right.
If I'd have loved a Halle Berry or a fucking Angela Bassett.
Halle's a little different than Diana Ross, though.
Yeah.
Diana Ross
if I was Michael Jackson's age, yeah, if Diana Ross was hot stuff in this mahogany days, man.
Right. She was. No disrespect to Diana. I'm just looking at it from through the prism of Michael, because it's also like not just an older woman that's coming on to you, Chris. She's a mentor, and like there's business stuff that's all tied in there too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like you can fuck up the bag.
Right.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Yeah, true that.
Mama saying, Mama Simon Makusa. Mama saying, Mama Simon Makusa. Yeah, Michael.
Shout out to Tracy Ellis Ross too.
Oh, now that's she could proposition me any day, right?
Yeah, I would have appreciated it. I would have. 18-year-old Christopher Ely would have appreciated a proposition from older Tracy Ellis Ross.
18-year-old, 28-year-old, 38-year-old. We can keep going.
Yeah, for real.
And then look, then when we get finished, Ray, I'm just gonna lean back in the bed and just be like, my girlfriend. And that's how we feed ducks on the pond. Ladies and gentlemen, cut the music, Ray. Oh man, we went a little long in this episode, but not nearly as long as last week somehow. But that was a great conversation, man. Shout out to both Prince and MJ. And maybe clip this, Ray. Like it'll be a long ass clip, but clip it because I think that was a good conversation about two icons of the culture. But that is going to bring an end to another spirited edition of the Parley. Let's go around the horn one last time, fellas. Let everybody know what we got going on and where they can find us. And let's start with a man who may or may not be riding down Rodeo Boulevard, Rodeo Drive, trying to link up with one Tracy Ellis Ross. Don't do it, Chris. Don't do it. Dr. Ely, what you got going on, my friend?
Okay, so you can just check out my articles. The next article that's going to print today is going to be on what is it on? I just did one on Bill Maher because Bill Maher, but the next article is on I'm blanking on what I did it on, but it's good. It's I'm blanking on it. But yeah, check it out. Anyway. But I am going to do what I can to send Ray on assignment to the Obama Center. And see if he's
don't ask no hard questions, Ray.
Obama. So you have to ask the hard question. You already said on the air you were going to do it, so you got it.
I didn't say when. I'm gonna keep it in the chamber.
If you ask it, make it the last question, Ray, so we at least get something we can use out of it. Like, you know what? This interview is over. Goodbye, Ray. I'm Barack Obama, y'all.
All right. I'm actually gonna check and see. I know what the article's about. I just forgot, so I'm gonna look at it real quick and then I'll come back. But so one of y'all can go now. I just want to look at this because it's gonna kill me if I don't get this right.
That's how many articles this brother be writing, ladies and gentlemen. The king of Substack, Alexa Light, Ray Williams. What do you got for the people? You'll be seeing the people, and I'll be seeing the people. Maybe Chris will be seeing the people. sooner than rather than later this week. So what we got coming up, Ray?
Indeed. Good tease, brother Nate. Yes. So we deliberately decided to forego tuning in for live watches for the first 3 games of the series. Matter of fact, I need to cut on the game tonight and see what's going on. But we will be tuning in on game 4. If there is a possible elimination, we will be tuning in game 4 NBA Finals live watch along this coming Wednesday, 8:15 Eastern Pacific, with all your favorite nefarious personalities. And if they aren't, then don't blame me.
I don't know, Ray. Them Spurs, if they might be getting eliminated tonight if they don't get on their shit.
I mean, to be fair, they won't actually be eliminated tonight. They will be down 3-0, but
yeah,
if they lose tonight, game 4 might be the only live watch we do this finals.
Yeah, they might get eliminated tonight. They might be like, yeah, we ain't even we ain't even going to game 4.
Chris sounded like the Cavaliers coach. Like, analytically, it's over. They already won.
The spirit will be.
I mean, the thing with and this is what I've told any like fan. If you're dealing with a team that's used to winning, you can never ever count them out. You just can't. Right. And don't take this moment for granted, Knicks fans. Understand that the Spurs are the Spurs, and they are known to, even though it'd be unprecedented. They're known to fuck with people. So enjoy the moment.
And the thing is, if you are going to get Wemby, this is the year to get Wemby.
Yeah.
Like, get him in his first year in the finals, because that brother, like, he don't even got his bag yet, Ray. He's still learning the game. Yeah. Like, Wemby, like, he doesn't have a go-to shot. He doesn't have a dream shake, Chris. He doesn't have a hook shot. He ain't got a special move yet. When Wemby get back in the lab in the offseason, oh, my goodness. Like, this Spurs team is going to be a problem for a while.
Yeah, they people have to make up reasons to hate this guy, like him bowing his head during the anthem, and like, what are we doing? Like, seriously,
not even his anthem,
right? Yeah, we're just gonna make up reasons to hate this guy. Like,
look, I'm the biggest French NBA hater of all time.
Yes, you are.
Like, as Kendrick would say, I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that they walk, the way that they talk. I hate the way they dress. I hate they baguettes, Ray. But even I can see the greatness in this man, Victor Wembanyama, man. He is next. He is up next. Like they ran, went 7 games, but the way that they won that game 7 against OKC is like, I think whatever window, like, OKC's still gonna be in the mix, Ray, but there's definitely a hierarchy now where the Spurs are clearly 1 and the Thunder are 1A in that mix.
Yeah, and the thing with I don't know what the Thunder's going to do in the offseason too. So, because that's always the problem.
Is people talking about them getting Giannis, Chris? I don't think that's going to happen.
Right? Yeah. Because I don't know what's going to happen. And they can lose people too. That's the thing as well. It's like, when you have a winning team and something like this happens, the craziest kind of shakeups happen.
Yeah. Chet Holmgren. Like, with that, when Wemby dunked on Chet Holmgren, Chris, and you'll appreciate this as a Simpsons aficionado, it reminded me of that one episode of The Simpsons, that I choose you episode where Ralph Wiggum tried to get with Lisa Simpson, and they had the Krusty the Clown show, and she's like, I don't like you, and Bart's like, right there, you can see the moment
the slow motion replay
on that dunk on Chet Holmgren. You can see the moment where Wemby took all of Chet Holmgren's spirit. Chet is like, I don't even want to play basketball no more, y'all.
Right.
Yeah, because I think a loss like that can disrupt a whole conference. I really do. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the offseason. And again, I just wrote an article on this for the 8th year in a row. no team is repeated.
Right.
Look at that. This man Chris been trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And then next
21, 22, 23,
next year we're
24,
gonna have a different
26.
champion when LeBron go back to
27.
Cleveland and win that championship. So
Indeed.
Chris
But
don't
yeah.
want to talk about that.
No, yeah, because if the Knicks win this year, I do think I don't know if they're gonna repeat. I think it might just be another. We might just have 9 years in a row of repeats.
I'm telling you, like LeBron, I would bet, like nobody knows for sure, but I'm betting LeBron's going back to Cleveland. And to me, Chris, if you put LeBron on that Cavs team this year, I think they probably would have beat the Knicks.
Yeah.
Probably.
And we ain't even gonna talk about playoff Bronny on these streets. Playoff Bronny, the Prince, the King and the Prince going back to Cleveland. Bronny gonna be like, Dad, do I have to go? Shut your ass up, Bronny. Get in the car.
Get in this car.
we doing this.
The Fresh Prince of Akron.
Yo, homes to Akron. Boom, 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 boom. It's the worst spinoff ever. And then they just drag Bryce along for no reason. Like, Pops, I'm not even eligible for the draft this year. Get your ass in the car too, Bryce. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so yeah, shout out to Chris what he's doing on Substack. Shout out to Ray for what Ray is doing here at the network. And yes, as Ray mentioned,
And
go ahead, Chris.
the article that I'm publishing today is on Kristen Welker's interview with Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just acted like a complete imbecile. And there's a whole psychology behind all that, and I break it all down. So just look for it sometime within the next couple hours.
Nice.
And real quick, if you're in the DC area and you just happen to stumble around the Ellipse next weekend, UFC Fight Fest, let your boy know I will be in the area. I will be doing man on the street interviews. Just getting a gauge of how
have you tried the microphone yet, or?
That's it, brother. That's behind the curtain, brother. Now I was gonna try it once. I was gonna try it once we get off the air.
Okay, yeah.
He's just gonna go to school tomorrow and just interview random kids. Like, why are you doing this, Mr. Williams? I gotta test out the microphone, kid. Yeah, so shout out to Ray, man. We're excited to see what Ray does out there in the nation's capital. Hopefully, it won't be his last interview.
I'm gonna give you this warning so I can on the air. Whatever you do, even if they invite you in, don't go inside the nation's capital that day, or the inside of the White House, because I have a very spidey sense, weird feeling that it's going to be a lot of destructive fuckery going on that
Insurrection
day.
Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I don't know what it's going to be, but I just don't got to.
If you see Chris Jericho's wife, Ray, walk the other way.
Yes, exactly. If you see Miss Jessica Lockhart, I think that's her name. Just walk the other way.
Sounds like an insurrectionist name.
Although I think the UFC Freedom 250 has ended up like that. The town fair to Freedom 250, where it's like they invited Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, they invited Mario Lopez, they invited Adam Sandler, they invited one more person. They were declined by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, declined by Adam Sandler, declined by Mario Lopez. How you get declined by Mario Lopez?
Slater don't want no part of that.
Mario Lopez he's the host of was it Access Hollywood? You know, he's got some cachet. Put some respect on AC Slater's name.
Put some respect on it. Look, that man was a championship wrestler in high school, Ray.
He was a pioneer, a wrestling pieneer. I will give you that.
And he, plays drums and all that.
Horace Gracie and AC Slater. Those are the forefathers of UFC. But yeah, like we're excited for this, man. Like Chris said, we got a lot of things bubbling, if you will, here at Nefarious. I I told Brittany Monet, like, it may not be this year, you know, because she works a lot of hours at the shoe job, but within the calendar year, Chris, within the next 365 days, we're gonna have our sister Brittany Monet at some of these red carpet premieres and stuff that. We got our crew getting ready to do some more AFC, some more AEW coverage. So like we in here.
Yeah. We missed the Toy Story premiere, so we'll get her on whichever one is next.
Yeah, whichever one is next. Brittany gonna be there. Maybe Maria be back up in here. Jenny, like we got some people here at Nefarious. So if you dig what we're doing, keep showing love, keep showing support. Let us know what you think about the programs in the chats, what you think about the conversations that we have on these shows. We appreciate it. If you want to support us a little bit more, hit that Patreon button, because we're still in the midst of the drive for 500 Patreon subscribers will allow us to do a lot more things here at the network, including bringing on another producer, including upgrading our equipment, including showing some love to the Patreon itself and having some Patreon exclusive shows such as Kung Fu Island with myself and Brent Chittenden, and the Avenge Hers initiative with Brittany Monet. Also get, like, you know, we got this show because, you know, speaking of people being at premieres and red carpets and stuff, Chris, like, I think within the next 365 days, Ray Williams needs to be tapped in and plugged into stuff like the Gamer Summerfest and, you know, some of these video game expos that are going on around the country, because, you know, people may not know this man Ray Williams is an avid video gamer, and we got
like E3. All right.
Well, RIP to E3.
I covered E3 back in 2012 or 13.
Yeah, when was it? Was it 23 when they had their last expo, Ray?
It might have been a little bit before that, maybe like right after the pandemic. I think it might have been 23 where they had the last one, but I think after the pandemic they were only doing like online only. And then I think around 22, 23 they were pretty much completely done.
Kind of like, I think like the Summerfest kind of has taken the spiritual successor, the mantle from E3. But like a lot of these shows, man.
Yeah, none of those cons feel like, even Comic Con doesn't feel the way it felt 10 years ago, you know?
Oh, we gonna thank you for saying that, Chris. We gonna be at Comic Con one of these days too, man.
Yes, sir.
Y'all don't know. We setting up the pieces, man. We setting things in motion. So again, subscribe to the Patreon. $3 gets you in the door. Subscribe to us on all our social media channels: IG, Bluetooth, Blue Sky. Use your Bluetooth to connect, okay, to the Blue Sky, Ray, and check out what we're doing. Speaking of YouTube, man, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Let your friends know about it, and subscribe while you're here on YouTube to our wrestling dedicated channel, Headcanon Grabs X Ring Theory. It's the collab you never know you needed, but you wish you always had, featuring Gerard Brown. Main event, Jay Lacey.
Yes,
he's main event Jay Lacey / leader of the prelim posse. He ain't got the main event status yet on the UFC side of things. But Gerard, Jay, Ray, Chris, myself, all the wrestling fanatics here at the network make appearances on that channel. So check that out. And just support us, man. We're trying to do some big things here this year and beyond. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in to the parlay this evening. We'll be back on Wednesday night with Game 4, a pivotal Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Ray, we'll see whether the Spurs can even things up, or will they be facing an insurmountable 3-0 deficit to the New York Knicks. We're going to have a fun week here at the network. This episode will be up in audio form at some point this week, probably Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, but it'll be up soon, and you can relive the magic of all of these conversations, and we'll be back next week with another episode here. Ray won't be joining us because Ray will probably be recovering from all the happenings in D.C. Just know, Ray, if you see a bunch of people running one way, and it's not into the Capitol building, run with them, because it may be somebody. You know, they be shooting out here. They be shooting on these streets.
Go see the
But
National Guard out there.
yes, you can just run right by him. That's the thing. You just if you fast enough, Ray. If you get a lot of cardio in this week, work on your wind sprints.
I need to watch the tape. I need to watch the tape on your boy at the White House.
Like, why is Ray doing a Naruto run? That ain't gonna help you with your speed, brother. It's not a speedy run. But anyway, thank y'all for checking out the parlay this week. We will check y'all out Wednesday for the NBA Live Watch, and then next week for more fun here at the Nefarious Media Network. So for Ray and for Chris, I am the Godfather, Nate Milton. Hope you enjoyed the show. Until next time, Shimon. I said Shimon. Because this has been the parlay. Hit that damn music, Ray, because we out of here.